Welcome to the court. It's Jester, and today we're starting with the final chapter of the letter. Continue. Time for Luke's chapter. Let's see if we can get him to go to therapy. To say I'm scared of what's happening is a gross understatement. Trouble of any sort is the last thing I want to get home to after a long day at work and a trip to the bar. And when I see Hannah near prostrate, I only feel dread. She twitches and seizes, body wound and coiled tight before trashing, shuddering, and shaking. Like a woman possessed, her mouth falls open and her eyes roll to the back of her head. It has the hallmark signs of a seizure. The symptoms are similar enough. And the knowledge, the fact that I know this, only makes me feel worse. Any anger I had caused by our disagreement on parting ways, no matter how temporary she claimed it to be, disappeared. The alcohol-induced daze that I felt was brushed aside as I run to help her. None of that mattered at the moment. But to hold her close is all I can do while she trashes about. I know this is wrong, that I'm not supposed to hold her down, yet I do it out of instinct, reflex even. Yeah, he's right, you're not supposed to hold someone down if they're having a seizure, cause then they might get hurt. I'm terrified of hurting her, but I see no other way to keep Hannah from hurting herself. It takes a lot to keep myself from running off to get help when she needs me here. Dude, call an ambulance. Like, call an ambulance. And it takes everything I have to keep myself intact. When she says my name, I realize that the seizures have stopped, but that doesn't make the dread go away.
Luke, please.
What happened here? Who did this to you?
I don't know. I'm so sorry.
The sight of her tear-streaked face is enough to twist the knife in. It does not help that I'm as lost as she is right now, and all I can say is...
Shh, it's all right. You're safe now, Hannah.
Dude, take her to the hospital. The cat's doing good. The cat's lying down, taking a nap in another room.
You're safe now.
It takes a bit to go through the house with my inebriated self. That's even made worse by the fact that I had to carry a nearly unconscious person as well. I was about to give up too until Shrocken? Am I pronouncing that right? Shrocken shows up to lighten the load. He quietly takes her from me without question and brings her up to the bedroom. And me? Well, I couldn't bring myself to follow, not right now. Not while I'm drunk and rattled by what has transpired. It's a miracle I was able to help at all. Dude, take her to the hospital! This is the downside to living in a mansion in the middle of nowhere with poor cell phone reception. If you need to call an ambulance, you probably can't get the phone through, and also it would take them forever to show up. Also, would they show up? Like, because if I was a 911 operator and I got a call saying, hey, you need to send an ambulance to the haunted mansion, then I'd probably be like, okay, yeah, no. So here I am, sulking in the parlor chair with a glass of wine in hand. I can't even remember what particular vintage it is, and I practically did not care right now.
Because when you're already drunk and still have problems, even more alcohol should help.
Luke, get your fucking life together. Of course, the butler chooses now to appear and be unhelpful.
You know what actually solves all problems? Death. But it is not recommended.
That sounds like something a man who's planning to kill his boss would say.
Alcohol isn't a true solution either.
It's worked well enough for me.
I mean, he's really drunk right now. It'd be pretty easy to hit him over the head with something heavy. I like to believe that I get my best ideas while I'm thoroughly hammered. Not everyone might agree, but they can't really do anything about it, can they? Oh, your best ideas, Luke? Like when you cheat on your wife? Those ideas? With a fuck ton of money comes great power, sometimes responsibility, but mainly power. And with that responsibility comes a lot of reasons to get drunk. Of course, I can just tell responsibility to saw it off if I was feeling reckless, and Christ, I must be really drunk if I'm thinking in circles. I just need something to focus on, and I should be fine.
How is she? Is she alright?
Take her to the fucking hospital, man! If panic crept into my voice at the question, I don't let it show. It would be a show of weakness to be so frazzled, to show so much concern over a woman who is going to put me aside. Dude, she's right to put you aside. She deserves better than this shit. People like him who work for me, I trust with business, but not with myself. Never with that. Only Hana has come so close. Only she has truly seen the man beneath the facade. Only her actions can wound me so.
Sleeping. Aside from a few bumps and bruises, she seems to be fine. A maid is watching over her for now. It is best not to leave her alone. But, if I may ask, what happened? I was in the gardens when I heard screaming. Did you...
No, it wasn't me.
I know it wasn't you, but even I'm skeptical. I'm quick to be on the defensive. I may be capable of a lot of horrible things, but I'd never harm her of all people, no matter how angry I might become. Dude, you hurt her when you cheat on her! I would never lay a hand on her to hurt her.
I didn't do anything. I wouldn't do anything like that. I don't even have a reason to.
Wait, so would you if you had a reason?
You don't consider her wanting to be a part as reason?
It isn't. Well, it is. I don't want to talk about it right now.
Does Hana get to keep the butler in the divorce?
But what happens was I got home. She was seasoned in the kitchens. Is she ill?
Well, you could find out if you took her to a hospital!
Not that kind of doctor. But I've already scheduled your physician for a house call tomorrow morning.
Oh, thank God, someone has sense.
We'll still have to monitor her as soon as she wakes up and...
Oh God, things are coming back to me. I need a drink.
Really? You're still drinking?
You might want to call a doctor for him, too.
Why, yes, it seems to be the bloody best time to be drinking. I'm allowed, aren't I?
Yes, you're a big boy. You can have all the alcohol you want. No one can take your sippy cup away from you.
After all, I've just found my wife having a seizure, and I shouldn't give two shits about it. Not when she's about to leave me.
Sounds like a personal problem. But I do. Goodness, I do. A big, generous gulp makes it so that the taste of cherries, raspberries, and strawberries wash over my tongue. The thing too sweet considering its deceptively earthy aroma. A Valm's Vineyard seasoned red isn't really something to scoff at. I've had many good memories with this particular drink. This particular bottle, in fact, was a gift. Oh God, please tell me we're not about to have a flashback. It serves the purpose of Lady Blair not had given it to me for, to forget. All the same, whether I look at this bottle or a Pinot Noir, it is just a means to an end. I will probably have to finish the whole bottle to get drunker than I already am.
But no, she doesn't need to be taken care of. If she wants her time apart, she'll have it.
Dude, you're the one that stuck your dick in someone else. It'll break my heart just to let her go, but she deserves this much, doesn't she? We both deserve this much. Well, she deserves better. I don't think you do.
She's had her uses.
Oh, fuck you. She's done a lot for me in the 7 years we've been together. I pursued her at first for the money. It was supposed to be strictly business. What the frick, Luke? There might have been a time or two when I considered taking her out of picture so I could do with the money as I pleased. Okay, so he thought of killing his wife for her money. That's just out there. What the fuck, Luke? I had planned to manipulate her, and I feel horrible thinking about it. But along the way, I had changed, if only for her. Perhaps my father would scoff, tell me I've gone soft. Maybe I have. Does it matter? Oh my God, if this is Luke soft, I'd hate to see him hearted. Oh, that sounded dirty. 7 long years. It had its ups and downs, and it certainly hasn't been a perfect marriage. We had our fights. Who hasn't? But those small moments where we could just laugh and be our happy selves were always magical. They made all these years worth it, and I have seen many more years to come. So where did I go wrong? You started cheating on her. That's where you went wrong. I've loved only 2 women in my life. Mother dear, bless her soul, and Hana, who has been my sunshine for so long. Losing her, I fear that I might become more like my father. Did your daddy cheat on your mommy too? Is that why you think it's okay? Had Damien Wright stayed with Mother or any of the other numerous women he's had a child with, would he have been any less of an embittered shell of a man? Would having a darling love in his life have made him a better person? Perhaps it's bias of me to doubt so. I don't think I can ever see the old man in a favorable light.
I'm just surprised that you're not afraid. She might be leaving with delicate information.
Oh, she might know something. But if she hasn't done anything with the knowledge for this long, I don't think she would do anything now. If she had even an inkling of what I've done, what I'm capable of, she'll know it's not a good idea.
It is so hard to find this man intimidating when he's pissed drunk.
Hana's a smart woman.
Smart, kind, hardworking, generous, loyal. I can go on and wax poetic about her if I had any talent with the stuff.
Why don't you sit down and have a drink with me? Don't worry, it's not poisoned or anything.
Lonely? Oh, I suppose there's no harm.
With a shake of my head, I procure another glass and pour some of the red wine. Watching the red liquid is fascinating all its own with my muddled brain, that I barely noticed sloshing some of it and staining my soup. It'd be utter bugger to clean, so I'm glad that this isn't my problem. Handing it over, I can't help but look up at the ceiling and let out a sigh. My eyes, damp, glaze over, though I won't let it go any further than that. Raising my own glass for a toast, I clear my throat.
We drink to... Do we really need a reason to? The world is messed up. War, terrorism, famine, poverty, loved ones and love lost. The world is a cesspool. Might as well be drunk if we're going to drown in it.
A bit less eloquent than your usual speeches, but zum Wohl.
A sip, a gulp, refill, rinse and repeat until the bottle of Vellum has barely a fifth left. I must have drunk most of it because I barely see Strachan take a sip of after his first glass. It certainly feels that way. I don't even think I can stand up, let alone walk. I'm all legless. My mind just feels so funny, and everything else is equally hilarious. Bloody hell, I think I can make out the faces of a bald man on the wallpapers with the butler also standing up, looking like a skyscraper from where I'm seated.
Jesus Christ, I have Sasquatch as a butler.
Oh god, he's fucking hammered. I have a great alcohol tolerance, so this, seeing how I'm a giggling wreck right now, is, I assume, really bad. If there is any sober part left to me, it'd probably shrivel up and die just thinking of the hangover that'll come tomorrow morning. But I can't help but get distracted at the sight of the moonlight peeking through the curtains, shiny and shimmery and absolutely splendid. Even if the night brought calm, it is the moon that always enamored me. It is a second sun, just as beautiful as my sunshine.
I want to go out and look at the moon. Mommy, I can't feel my legs.
Oh my god.
Mutter, I am not. Don't tell me I have to carry you upstairs to bed.
Well, it's either that or leave him on the floor and he's the one signing your paychecks.
I didn't even do nothing. I did my best to behave decent.
You cheated on her! You yelled at her! You didn't take an interest in spending time with her! You were a bad husband!
Whiskey and Mint are just good friends, that's all. And that Rochelle woman's baby isn't mine.
Who's Whiskey? I know Mint is Marion. Who's Whiskey?
I swear, I couldn't love any other woman than Hana. Hana must be so tired. I'm a brat, aren't I? She said as such.
Yeah, you are.
I don't want Hana to leave me, Joe. Oh God, she's the love of my life, you know? I'm a shy human being without her.
You should go to therapy.
Flowers.
Oh my god.
Lots and lots of flowers. All of the flowers.
Dude, you don't need flowers, you need marriage counseling.
Enough to make the Queen's Gardens look like a fucking dumpster fire in comparison.
All well and good, but you are not achieving any of that while you are lying on the carpet. Now, if you can lift your skinny ass and work with me. 1, 2, 3.
But I don't want to go to bed. The moon is so pretty tonight.
I should just let you sleep on the ground, Bratwurst.
You should.
Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty face from day to day. Come on, Mummy, wake up. I want to be in that play. Mummy, wake up. You promised that you'd help me practice my lines today. The auditions are tomorrow, so I have to practice. The last syllables of recorded time, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools. The way to Dusty. Mummy, are you...
Oh god, are they gonna give me a sad backstory about Luke having a dead mom so that I feel bad for him and try not to get him killed by the ghost? I choke back a scream and wake up in a cold sweat. With my heart pounding in my ears, it takes a while to remember where I am. In the dark cold of the room, one can't fault me for feeling ill at ease. It isn't as bright as the penthouse, and the renovations did little to change how old it feels. We've been here for less than a week. It'll take a bit more time to adjust. It's hard to feel cozy, though, when I'm bloody freezing. Nudging the lump of fabric next to me, I sigh.
It's cold. Don't hug the sheets, Hannah.
Dude, she told you she was planning on getting separated for a time. Why are you still sharing the same bed? She always did this, though it hardly bothers me. Growing up, I was lucky to have something to use as a mattress. I'm not the one who grew up accustomed to the Egyptian cotton with a thread count of 800. Besides, the warmth that Hannah exuded on her own is usually enough to keep me sleeping through the night. The temperature tonight must be something else with how chilly it is right now. I must be considerate. After all, the poor dear is ill, though I loathe to think about what had just transpired.
Don't make me pull those sheets off you. That blanket is large enough to cover an elephant. You need to share.
It takes a while.
What was that, honey? Apologies. I'm just in the loo, so if you can give me a moment.
Oh my god, is the ghost in the bed with him? There's no sign that they'll be moving where they lie. With care, I go for a knife hidden under the side of my bed. It would be foolish of me to instigate anything while I'm unarmed, after all. Why do you keep a knife next to... I keep a baseball bat next to my bed, so I get it. Oh, frick. To pull back the covers would be a more difficult affair, because reaching out to uncover who was underneath, I have to prepare for anything and assume the worst. If I so much as see the nozzle of a gun, there's going to be a murder tonight. I know they say not to bring a knife to a gunfight, but I think I can sink a blade in his liver faster than he can point and aim. I see the rise and fall of the sheets, though it would easily be mistaken as the fault of the breeze. I hear their breathing. Wait, why would the ghost breathe? A great sense of foreboding comes over me, making me hesitate with my plan. I should just get Hannah and myself out of here, not look back, and let security handle it. That's what they're there for. Or maybe I should just man up. There's no way I'm risking the chance that inaction will put Hannah in danger. But what's the worst that could happen, right? I have no reason to be afraid. Dude, you could die! There's no boogeyman under the bed, no monster in my closet. If anything, these things should be afraid of me. Right? I grab a fistful of sheets and throw them aside. Oh, no. Nothing. Nothing but a bunch of pillows stare back at me. Must be my imagination. I'd rather not think I'm going mad. It could very well be the stress getting to me. All this drama with Hannah. I've been doing well all these years, all things considered. I guess I do have a breaking point. But still, the world goes on even if one cannot, and I must go along with it. I suppose a day off or two tomorrow wouldn't hurt. Rest aside from a few hours of sleep will be welcome. More than. But I can't shake off the unease. I dare say that I feel afraid, irrationally so, that something will come creeping and crawling from under the bed even as I lay back down and close my eyes. The odd dreams don't linger, thankfully, but with the morning comes another disturbance, both too loud and too sharp for my tastes. And I have very fine taste. When the piercing rings of the doorbell reaches the bedroom, I'm very much inclined to think that the person who built this place lacks any sense. Perhaps the only thing good in this is that the ruckus has chased away the needling guilt from last night's commotion, if only temporarily. Still, it's a bloody annoying distraction. I can tell already that it's going to be a long day. It hasn't even started. Before the racket even lasts another minute, I'm peeling myself off the bed and heading straight for the main door. There will be a murder today if this doesn't let up. How quaint. It seems everything in this blasted universe is intent on getting in my nerves as a lady.
Gordon Bennett! Only a Nancy would knock at such an ungodly hour.
Okay, calm down. In the first place, I shouldn't be the one doing this. This is why I hired a valet, for fuck's sake.
Where's that damn butler when I need him?
Probably tending to your sick wife. I'll be honest, if only for today. With the mansion this quiet at this hour of the morning, it's easy to believe those little ghost stories might be real. But the only horror here is how long Hana's patience with me will last after the incident at the party. Neither the deafening silence nor the biting chill spreading across every room in the place. There's no place for fear when another set of problems already burns that fuel. So I wait for another second. With no butler still answers my call, I simply yank the doors open myself, perhaps with more force than needed. Hi, Zach. And maybe it should appropriately be there, considering the person on this side of the hour, he dared to appear on my doorstep. Even someone with a half brain knows not to disturb anyone this early. Brief confusion quickly gives way to anger before the bloody photographer can even get a word in. I'm hurling venom at him. It's less than he deserves, really. Hana will disapprove, scold me for treating the photographer with such disrespect if she hears me right now. She seems fond of him after all, despite meeting him only once or twice. He's merely doing his job, she'll say. But she's not here, isn't she? What does she know?
You? How the hell did you get in here?
Dude, it's a front door. Anyone can show up.
What in seven hells do you want? It's bloody 6 in the morning.
Listen, sir, I know this is not a good time.
Oh, it's not a good time. Did you even check the clock before coming here? I bet you didn't.
This is still my home. My rules also apply to this place as much as Hana's do. As simple as that.
Unlike you, the ones living in this house need to sleep.
It just so happens that it's also a person I will never take a liking to. No need for remorse.
Come back when people are actually awake, or I'll call security on you.
He continues shouting even as I slam the door in his face. Some nonsense about the news lately, though I don't understand most of it. However, with the closed doors muffling the better part of it, with no ears to listen, his tirade doesn't last too long. Eventually he leaves, and silence once again fills the room, as it should. In hindsight, maybe I should also call for psychiatric services. He definitely sounds mental just screaming like that. A suspicious man like him left roaming around the immediate grounds. Nothing good can come of it, but if his presence will indeed bring a problem, a sign of bad things to come, I'll probably know soon enough. Worst comes to worst, Shrocken will take care of it if need be. That's what I'm paying him for. In the meantime, the bigger problem is at hand, a hangover. Maybe I'll have some abstinence to temper it, dog hairs, or some wine to help bring me back to sleep. It's still early. One glass won't hurt. Yes, it will. It's 6 a.m., Luke. Or 2. Whatever the case, I need to think, whenever that will lead me to. It's nothing. Everything leads to nothing, except for this pounding headache as if my mind will burst at any time and leak out of my ears. My vision swims in and out of view. My stomach threatens rebellion, with plans of making me throw up what little food I've taken in with how my mouth feels. It's like it's filled with cotton. One would think the fact that I'm hungover would make me the grumpiest person in the room. But as it is, my eyes move over to Hana, who is stirring sugar in her tea and scowling down at it, all the while as if it has just murdered a baby in front of her. I have half the mind to bemoan my current state and make a fool of myself just to make her smile. And I'm rather good at bemoaning. Not that I would admit that. Why, I'm already adopting the posture of a whiny teenager as we speak, slouched forward with my cheek on the table.
Oh, I'm dying. Oh, God, I'm dying. Hana? Johans, call an ambulance, please.
Oh my God.
Let it be known that I leave all my belongings to Hana right near Evans. Everything but 30,000 quid. But oh, I see a bright light. I see a farm. Mother dearest, is that you? Little Lucille is on his way home.
Is this what he's always like?
I'm so sorry, but I must leave you, Hana. Cover my face. Your eyes dazzle. I die young.
Was Luke a theater kid? Luke seems like he was a theater kid. That much I can manage through a hangover, a thing entirely of my fault considering I've drunk twice the night before. Another thing I will never admit, really, it's a miracle I haven't cured alcohol poisoning yet.
Oh, stop being so melodramatic, Luke. Besides, you never lived in a farm. You hate farms.
I went to a farm once. I pet a turkey there. It was a nice turkey.
We are not bringing you to the hospital for a hangover. Really? One would think you'd be used to it by now with how stubborn you are about your drinks. Dare I ask what the 30,000 quid is for, though?
It pulls a small smile from her for a moment, but the pinched look on her face returns quickly enough.
He lost a bet with Robert and Elise after a night of drinking at the Crawl. 10,000 each. And another 10 to me.
The sneer that makes its way to my face doesn't hold as much heat as it usually does. It's just a bit of friendly ribbing. Though, I wish he wouldn't tattle. Of course, it was my fault for mentioning the money. It wasn't like anyone would notice 30 grand missing from millions, though. That's how much I spend on a normal weekend.
Oh, must you be such a teacher's pet? I told you not to talk about it.
I'm having second thoughts about moving to the penthouse. If this is what you do when I'm not looking.
No, Hana, move to the penthouse. You deserve better than this. I've almost forgotten about that little arrangement, too. Shame. Hopefully that's the reason why she's so intent on glaring at the table until its varnish peels off. The alternative would be sobering.
It was that one time. I'm not a child in need of minding or mother hens. As much as I'd love for you to stay, you said you need some time to yourself. Don't let the fact that I lost a bet once make you think I have to be supervised.
It wasn't. I'm just worried about you, Luke. I'd be less so if you actually sat up.
Hana's a good woman. She's too good for him.
Why are you worried about me? I'm more concerned about what your doctor told you. How did the house call go?
I didn't want to intrude on her privacy when the doctor arrived, a ridiculous sentiment considering I am still her husband. But it wasn't like I could have done any good being there, what with nursing a hangover and all. However, a part of me feared what would be said. Not to mention, I trust that Hana would tell me if it was something serious. Of course, it probably is something bad, and I would be a fool to hope otherwise. I found her having a seizure, for goodness sakes. I should have rushed her to the hospital as soon as she awoke, but it was her insistence that kept me at bay. A cup of tea finds itself in my hands and attempts to appease me, no doubt. But I don't bother to drink, let alone look up. If anything, I just press my forehead on the table to hide the childish pout on my lips. Not that this is any better.
It was fine. The physician took some of my blood, and he scheduled me for a few lab tests tomorrow morning. I've already called for a driver and attendant to accompany me, so there's no need for you to worry.
And what? You'll just be leaving me behind then? And I don't think you should be going anywhere alone.
You hate hospitals even more than you hate farms, Luke. And Kylie's coming for your play date tomorrow, remember? Relax. I'm taking Johans with me if it makes you feel better.
Herr Dr. Hobbs asked that I keep her under observation for the time being. Naturally, I'll be reporting my findings at the hospital.
Sitting up, I run a finger over the rim of my teacup and mull it over. I do hate the bloody place. I thought hiring Shrocken would have been enough for me to avoid the place, but apparently not. Bloody doctors and bloody sick people. I don't want to catch anything contagious. I can't even tell crying people to shut up if they get too annoying, respecting their grief, my arse. Oh my god, Luke. Save for a life and death situation, I'd rather avoid the mass graveyard that hid beneath the sterile air and white tiles.
I guess you two can go without me. But I can't believe how naturally you two conspire behind my back. Don't expect my help if those bloody doctors bleed you two dry. Vampires, every single one of them. Not as bad as lawyers and politicians, but close enough. You do know Carly will be upset when she finds out you're not here tomorrow. Again.
She'll be happy enough to spend time with her fairy godfather, I'm sure. You're a good role model for her, despite your whining.
No matter how many times Hana claims that the whining is unbecoming of me, I never listen. It's not like anyone that matters is here to judge. Well, it's not like anyone else actually matters. I'll whine if I bloody hell want to, and I'll be no lesser because of it. Of course, I will not tolerate another person's whining. Except perhaps for Hana, but she hardly ever does that. Even right now, I can sense a look of pain. I can see a look of pain passes on her face and her hand goes to her stomach. Yet she keeps quiet, not bringing it up or complaining. What should I do? Call for an ambulance, ask if she's alright. Ask if she's alright.
Are you alright? Should we be concerned? Maybe we should bring you to the hospital now.
I just feel a little queasy, that's all. A bit more tea in me, maybe some more sleep, and I'll be right as rain.
I spent a lot of time around people who lie for a living, and I can't help but feel that there's more to it than just that. Maybe it is just as she says, and I'm overthinking it. But I trust Hana to fess up before things can get worse. She's never really lied to me before. Nothing big, at least.
If you're sure, I'm just worried. You'll tell me if anything is wrong, right? You do know you can still trust me. That I do still care about you?
I know that. I'm just going to be moving out soon. Even if it is for a short while, you won't always be there for me.
Did you finish packing before you... I understand if you haven't, and I won't blame you if you've changed your mind after what happened. You can stay until you feel better.
I'm still moving. It isn't like you can't visit to check up on me. Although that does somewhat defeat the point. Luke, I'm a big girl. I'm going to get a checkup tomorrow, take whatever pills they tell me to get, and get over it. You really don't need to worry. I'm fine.
Oh, I do so hate those words. I hide my scowl by taking a sip of tea, fighting off the urge to hurl a cup at the wall. I'm fine, she says. A lie. Apparently, the sour disposition I have, one not entirely born from my hangover, is still obvious. Without saying a word, Hana puts her hand on mine and squeezes it tight. Her hands are cold and clammy. Her grip is weak. I can see the small tremors that run along her shoulders and the paleness of her cheeks. She has yet to recover from what happened to her. She's not fine. And I'm not either.
Fine. I don't need to like it, but fine.
I don't think either of us really like it. But I do think it is for the best.
Perhaps we should bring you back to bed. The sooner you are off your feet, the better.
Is that some sort of roundabout way of saying that you want to sweep me off my feet and take me to bed? This isn't our honeymoon. I need rest, mister.
I am aware that this is the farthest thing from our honeymoon. This isn't how things are supposed to be. Hana isn't supposed to leave. I'm not supposed to let her. And if she ever did leave, it's supposed to be on my terms. Everything is going wrong. But I respect her enough to let her have her space, as she so puts it. If divorce is brought up, however, well, that's another matter entirely.
Really now, you shouldn't have gotten up in the first place. Breakfast in bed exists for a reason. Come on then, back to bed you go.
Are you going to carry me to bed then?
You're far too heavy for that. Johans could carry you.
Oh my god, you have the butler do everything for you.
Can you blame me if I enjoy food too much? I can walk, thank you very much.
I don't say a word as she clutches my arm to steady herself. There's no protest as she uses me as a crutch while going up the stairs. But that's as far as I want to go. Judging by the light blush on Hana's face, she's gotten self-conscious about it too.
Johans, look after her, and you stay in bed. I just need to go out.
I'll have plenty of time to be lonely in the mansion by myself when Hana moves out. For now, I can go and stretch my legs, fresh air and all that. Breathe. Gray skies loom over the horizon, though the sun fights for every precious minute it gets to stay. It'll rain again soon, with the wind bringing along gloomy clouds normal to Luxborn. Until then, it doesn't hurt to be out here for fresh air and sunshine. I walk to the gardens, what little there is at the moment, and kneel by the daffodils. These were the first to be brought here and planted at my request, and if nothing else, they brought in a sense of peace. They were Mother's favorites. Closing my eyes, I lift my chin to welcome the light that shines upon me. And for a minute, I can imagine myself as one of the flowers, peaceful, blooming, and all too happy to stand in its warmth. Life would be much easier if we were all like flowers, wouldn't it? But I didn't step out here to get all philosophical. I have problems much more practical than figuring out the meaning of life after all. Too many things have gone on these past few days. And I want to forget about them, even if just for a moment.
It's almost All Saints, isn't it? To think I've almost forgotten.
I speak the words absent-mindedly. The date means nothing to me, as I neither worship the religion nor have any graves to visit. After all, Mother was never given a proper burial. But it's a day as good as any for me to grieve. Otherwise, I would have done so every single day, crippling myself and shutting everyone else out. I can remember how the flames licked at her flesh and how it consumed her body until there was nothing left but ash. I stood there, watching with the operator and a local service worker, though I could have been alone for all I cared. I felt alone. It was the most that could be done. No one would attend the funeral of a dead prostitute, let alone pay for it. All that's left of her, proof that she had lived, is her name written on the ledger of Luxbourne Cemetery, a lighter, and me. Pulling out the lighter from my jacket, I can't stop myself from flicking it open to stare at the flame and run my thumb across her name. All in all, it isn't much, but it's something. And it'll be wrong of me not to make something of myself when she would have given everything to make sure I can become anything I want to be.
Feels like I'm stuck in a nightmare right now. What I would give to have you here by my side, Mother dear. To see you smiling at me.
Oh God, he does have a
Alive
sad
and as
backstory.
beautiful as ever.
Oh God, he does have a sad backstory.
I'm afraid I'm starting to forget what your face looks like. I've already forgotten the shade of your hair.
Oh, he's sad. Eleanor Chandler was a wonderful woman, though not everyone would have agreed. Not everyone had seen past her occupation, past her vices, and her illness. All they saw was a poor woman who sold her body to make ends meet and had a bastard son because of it. They didn't see the mother who worked hard to put food on the table for me, the woman who gave and gave and gave to me while expecting nothing in return. She taught me the merits of hard work, but even though I loved her so, I worked hard for myself. I would not have been so foolish, so selfless towards people who would never give back. I learned that from the father who plucked me out of an orphanage for his own selfish gain. I pocket the lighter before I can feel the urge to actually set anything ablaze. Considering my proximity to the flowers, they would be the most likely victim of arson. Just the thought in itself is blasphemous. Nevertheless, that doesn't save them from being picked, just enough to make a bouquet of things in honor of Eleanor.
Would you be proud of me if you saw me now, Mother? Maybe.
Well, you cheat on your wife and commit a lot of crimes, so she probably wouldn't be. Like, Luke, get your shit together. You can be a better person.
You're always so forgiving. No matter what trouble I got into, more than I deserved. Especially now.
It's been a while since I've talked to my mother like this. I've been thinking of both my dear parents far too much as of late, when I shouldn't. I have a future to look forward to and the present to take care of. These memories of the past give me nothing but grief. The life of Lucille Mitchell Chandler should be nothing but a footnote in Luke Wright's non-existent autobiography. It's because of Hannah, isn't it? I worry that she is all too much like Mother that it scares me, and the thought that I'm turning into my father is even more so. But even if history is so set to repeat itself, I'm not a child anymore. Content to sit aside, unable to do anything to help, and too inexperienced to think that the worst wouldn't happen. I have money to buy the best medicines and doctors if need be. She'll get better. She has to. And once we get over this little bump in the road, I can stop worrying. All will be right with the world. Unfortunately, my time alone is cut short, though.
I think those flowers look beautiful, my lord.
Oh, God.
The parlor, the room where the lady stays for her tea, it could certainly use some.
The voice is not familiar, though I'm not really one to remember such things. Oh, the ghost is trying to seduce him. That's the ghost. I know that's the ghost. And this is what she looked like before she died. And she's in love with Luke, and now we're all, oh God, she's gonna try to kill his wife. Going with her attire, I would say that she's one of the housekeepers. Strange, considering I've sent all the staff but Johannes away. And her face, as pretty as it is unfamiliar to me. It would be a lie if I said that it didn't set me on edge. Most would say I cared little for my employees. That isn't entirely untrue. However, I'd like to think I know the people who work for me, especially those who would roam my home, even if it's just a face and a name. Besides, I would remember a beauty such as her. So, who is this? Is she someone impersonating a household staff to get in? She's doing a bad job of it.
Didn't you get the memo? Are you new? Today is a day off. You aren't supposed to be here.
I expect poor excuses and apologies the likes of her often give, but she merely smiles.
Oh, no. I've been a servant here since you first came.
And I see no signs of lying or hear it in her words, yet that can't be true. But I find that I feel like I can relax. She has that sort of smile that makes one's kindness shine through without words or actions. It reaches her eyes, filling them with a strange sort of mirth, as if she's just thought of something very funny. Perhaps had it been any other person, I would have interpreted it as a deceitful grin. But the curl of her lips and the shine of her eyes are too soft to hold any malice. She takes my silence as a sign she can continue. And it's not like I feel any urgency to stop her. I'm not really in the mood for company, but I'm not adverse to it at the moment either. Entertaining a beauty like her, even for a while, wouldn't hurt. It helps that she proves easy to listen to, despite how oddly she speaks.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I shouldn't have bothered you. Look at me, talking to the master of the house without even asking for permission. What will the others think? If you'll excuse me, I'll just...
I haven't driven you away yet, have I? And it's your day off. I don't see why we can't chat a bit.
Luke, don't stick your dick in the ghost.
Of course. If that is what you wish. As long as it does not get you into trouble with the lady. To even take time for someone as lowly as me. No wonder that everyone under the mansion's employ is so fond of you. Though it should have no longer been a surprise to me. You have always been such a kind and loving lord.
I have to stop myself from calling her out on her shit. It's almost as if she's talking about an entirely different man. She is! She's talking about the original Lord Emigard of the mansion. No matter how big my ego gets, I know for a fact that I'm hardly in the running for Best Boss of the Year award. The only reason that most of my staff stay is because of the decent compensation. I'm not cheap. But if she wants to lay it on thick, I'll allow it. Who wouldn't want a beautiful woman complimenting them?
I'm sure she'll be fine with this. We are just talking after all. Unless you had other things on your mind when you approached me.
The words leave my mouth before I even realize what I've said. I panic a bit. Though I can get away with picking up women out in the city, sometimes even out of the county, I've always taken care not to do so in my home or in my business. Not when it'll be so easy for Hana to find out about my infidelity through these channels. Though, seriously, I don't see what the big deal about it is. I just have an itch I need to scratch. Luke, this is why she's leaving you!
I know it must be amusing to see a girl flustered for a man of your stature. But please don't say such things, my lord. I saw you alone and simply thought you could use some company.
Thankfully, and I do count my lucky stars, it seems that the woman takes it as a joke rather than the casual pass it was intended to be.
So how are you liking your work around the mansion? The place is wonderful, but I imagine the upkeep is ungodly with all the rooms and whatnot. I don't even want to think about how many people are on the staff roster.
Work is work, my lord. It is a way of living. A purpose from day to day. It is certainly far better than doing nothing or having no food to eat. The house itself is also beautiful. There's no lack of things to look at. I'm sure you've seen those books in the study. I can't read any of them yet, but if given the chance, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be thinking of those things. Especially when the rains, they might bring more work to us soon. It will definitely be much more difficult when it returns. Idling about is the least I should be doing.
I guess you can put it that way if you want to be brutally honest about the whole thing. And the rain shouldn't be a problem. Hopefully. Maybe.
If a little dreary, at least she doesn't beat around the bush. I like the honesty. Many would bemoan their status as a household staff, as a janitor or other menial role, and believe themselves to be for greater things. And I would not begrudge the idea that one can always get better. But one shouldn't be so discontent with what they have either.
The rain is something I simply must get accustomed to, if I am to live here. I've not spent long in this place after all. but I have been told that it has rained in this nation since a mother's time and their mother's time. There is little we can do about it. I am just glad to have time in the sun, even for a short while.
Isn't that the truth? Really, these sunny days have been welcome, though I can't imagine they'll last for long. Sometimes I just want to pack my things and leave for somewhere like, say, the Bahamas or whatnot. Get some sun and surf.
But certainly, you will return for us, won't you? This is your home, after all. Your people, they won't be pleased if the master of the house leaves.
Of course, I can't very well leave my businesses hanging here, can I? I just wish I could actually trust people enough to go on vacation without taking work with me. I've also got to get back here if I ever want proper meals. A proper pudding is something you'll never find out there.
The woman nods in understanding, and I must say that she makes for a fine listening ear. Though, what she says next gives me pause, whether she meant for me to hear it or not.
And good tea. From what the cook has been telling me, I've yet learned how to prepare one. Perhaps once I do, it would endear the lady of the house to me. I never expected her to be so unkind after what she did for me.
Oh shit, the original lady of the house was a bitch. And now she thinks it's Hana. Oh god, that's what the hauntings are about.
Though it's only if one catches her in a foul mood. I wish I knew how to avoid her anger.
I highly doubt she means Hana. That woman rarely has a mean bone in her body. And when she actually is nasty towards someone, it's usually deserving enough, much like with that Rochelle woman. Hell, she even tolerates Harvey for me, even if she did admit she doesn't quite like the man. She must mean the head housemaid, right? I have to laugh at that. Not that I have room to speak. I don't deal with her myself anymore, even though Johannes has had a few choice words about the head hag. She's just been under the right employ when she was also the housemaid for my father. And if anyone's not going to get along with someone, it'd be that crotchety old woman. I don't even remember her name. But the woman had been this strict upstart bitch who took one look at me, her master's bastard son, and decided to turn her nose up as if she were bothered by as if she were better by mere consequence of birth. That, and she absolutely loathed my very existence. Perhaps the rumors had been true. She had a miscarriage while bearing another one of dearest father's children, and she saw me as an obstacle to her being granted a better standing in life. I remember that much at least. The only reason I haven't sacked her yet is because of her competence. Also because working under my household makes her absolutely miserable, her resignation made impossible by her pride.
Nobody really gets along with that woman. I think everyone just tolerates her because of how old she is. I mean, not to be rude or awful or anything, but she's at the age where she'll be pushing daisies soon enough.
Is she? Really, my lord? I'm sure the lady is much younger than that.
I think the thought of tormenting the young and beautiful gives her reason to live.
It does seem that way, though I feel sorry for her. One's life should not be wasted away on hatred and anger. It is never good for the heart or the head to always carry ill thoughts. But at the least, you are here for us. We are certainly so lucky to have a lord like you. The lady even more so. The gods smile down on her. Though, if I may be honest, she is to be envied.
Even when I have my suspicions about her, she's just so easy to talk with that I've forgotten. I don't know who she is and if she's actually one of the household staff. That would explain why she would so easily give obviously wrong statements about my character. Though, if she is here for malicious reasons, she would have done more so than do small talk with me by now, wouldn't she? I have so many questions. Perhaps curiosity will kill this cat.
It's strange that I've never seen you before. What's your name?
You do not remember?
I don't believe you've mentioned it, or am I missing something?
You still cannot comprehend it. Can you, my lord?
Her answer chips away at the good mood I'm starting to get into. I have every right to be angry at the cryptic response. She threatens insubordination with her very presence alone. But instead of hurling vitriol at the woman, I take a deep breath. I do not want my mood ruined further than it already is. Not right now, when I can let my temper take its course another time.
Whatever your name is, and no matter how long you've been working for us, that does not change the fact that you shouldn't be here. I'll call you a cab to bring you to the city if you want.
Shouldn't I? What if I do not wish to leave?
Oh no.
I merely desire to stay by your side and serve. Is that such a deplorable thing?
Her gaze sends chills down my spine. It's too easy to see the devotion, the obsession in her eyes. Not the good sort either, as her scrutiny makes me feel like I'm laid bare. The offness of her presence is all the more palpable with the feeling of bugs crawling on my skin and silence that makes it seem as if the world has stopped. Any friendly atmosphere we might have had going for us is completely forgotten. Danger. A small part of the back of my mind screams, the part that has kept me alive all these years. And in hindsight, I'd be stupid not to take heed of it. But I've grown arrogant, complacent, and content to hide behind wealth and power.
Yes, it's a deplorable thing, as you said, because I'd like to be alone now. Thank you very much. If you didn't want the day off, you should have reported to your superior. This is utterly unprofessional of you, and I shall be issuing complaints. In fact, if you know it's good for you, you should start looking for another employer.
Oh no. It's at my threat that the smile on her face turns tight.
I see. It escapes you still. This is unfortunate. How despairing that this misery must go on. But maybe, if you come with me, I can help you. I can...
Oh my god, this isn't the first time. Every lord of the house that has lived there after the original, she's been trying this with. She's been haunting all the people who get near this house, and she keeps waiting for the new lord to take the original's place and run away with her. Oh shit. When she reaches out for me, I recoil with a
How
hiss.
dare you lay your filthy hands on me without my permission?
Oh no.
I am not going anywhere with you. Now step back and walk away before I have you forcibly removed.
Yeah, good luck with that, bro. As if a switch had been flipped, the woman's expression turns horrific, although that may very well be the understatement of the century. She herself turns horrific. Her presence is suffocating, bearing down on me. I'm rooted in the spot through no fault of my own as my fear paralyzes.
You are too much like that vile woman, poisoned by her rotten influence and her filthy words. But that can be remedied now that you're here. Oh, how we have waited to welcome you home. Come, my lord. The house beckons.
Yeah, it's time to move. When her fingers grasp at the back of my coat, I finally find it in me to break off into a run. Okay, so good news and bad news. Let's go bad news first. Bad news. The ghost is infatuated with you. Good news. This means that there's a possibility for you to whore your way out of the situation. I can still feel her eyes on me as I run back to the house. But I refuse to acknowledge it, let alone look back. All I need is to get away from her and make sure she stays away. If that means acting like a coward and seeking out company to keep me safe, nobody can tell me to do otherwise. Bravery isn't something to be lauded if it comes along with stupidity. It must be a sight to see the usually composed and reserved Luke Wright bursting through the doors. Not that I have much of an audience, unless there are other staff members who've chosen to disregard my orders for them to leave. Really, I still doubt that woman is one of the staff. Mustering up the courage, I look back through the windows to see if she followed me. She's gone, but I don't take any chances putting up as much distance between us as I can. Stopping to catch my breath, Johannes' sudden appearance nearly makes me jump out of my skin.
Don't fucking do that!
You should put a bell on him.
You son of a bitch! If I had a gun, I would have shot you!
Okay, you do have a gun. Wait, where's your gun?
If I had any love left for my mutter, I'd take offense. But what happened to you? You look like you've seen a ghost.
He did. Oh, if only it were such a delusion. But I can still feel her sharp nails digging into my back. The feeling was too real for it to have been a ghost.
There was his housekeeper. I think, I'm not sure. In the gardens, She was acting odd, and I thought to remove myself from the scene.
Strange. I made sure the rest of the staff had left and that the house was empty, as you requested. Describe this woman.
She had pale skin, dark eyes, and long, dark hair. She wouldn't give me her name.
I have to expect a name from him. The man knows the staff better than I do, after all. But instead of an answer, he grows quiet. I'm pretty sure that is not a good thing. I'm even more worried when the other man looks me over. I have to protest when he pulls back my collar.
What in the bloody hell are you doing?
Checking for marks. Needle marks, to be exact. We don't have anyone like that among the staff. You could have easily been kidnapped.
A cold feeling settles itself over me at the thought. I've long established my power over the more unsavory characters in Luxborn. Or I thought I did. Are you out here playing Mafia Boss? And the most harm I thought that could come to me would be slander or robbery or incarceration. Kidnapping? An attempt on my own person? I've forgotten that I'm human, as mortal as any other man, despite my wealth and status.
Fortunately, you look unharmed. But I advise that you be accompanied by trusted individuals at all times from now on. If not me, an assigned guard. I'll be informing them of this soon, as they return from their day in the city.
Already, I can feel the energy leave me at the realization of what could have been.
All right. Yes, I suppose we should do that. But I think I'd like to call it a day. I should be safe in bed, yes?
I'll stand guard outside for the night. The madam has been inquiring about you, by the way.
A guard. Any other threat, and he alone, would be enough to make me feel safe. From what I saw, whatever it is I saw, would one man be enough?
That's all well and good. But there's something else. That housekeeper. She.
Luke, you're home. I was worried about you.
The grin that I can muster is probably lopsided. Forced as I snapped my mouth shut to keep myself babbling about witches and monsters. Because here I am standing in the hallway, dirt on my pant legs, sweat dotting my forehead, a far cry from my usual pristine condition. I don't want to worry Hana. A cough.
What happened to you? You look like you wrestled in the mud and moss, dear. And those flowers. Were you gardening?
What? Oh, these. I didn't realize I still had them.
I really did not. But there they are, still in my grip, daffodils I had taken from the garden. Even in the wake of my flight, I had refused to let go of them, whether I was conscious of it or not.
Shall I put them in a vase?
Give them to Hana. Hana deserves nice things. Perhaps I did it to save face, or maybe a small part of me really had planned to take them for her. But, like a young man presenting flowers to a Valentine's, I awkwardly thrust the bouquet in Hana's direction.
They're for you.
These are lovely, thank you. But aren't these?
The surprise is to be expected, and the open-ended question needs less interpretation. I've never given her daffodils before, especially not from the ones I considered mine.
They're for you. Don't make me think that kneeling around in the dirt was a waste of my time.
It's not. It's not. Just, are you feeling all right? I hope whatever I have isn't contagious.
I'm not sick, Hana. I just got them for you. I thought they'd make you feel better, brighten up the room. I don't need my intentions questioned. The thank you was enough.
And I didn't mean to insinuate anything. But you're right. Thank you, truly, for these.
She takes them from me, careful not to crush the stems. There is still uncertainty on her face, which endears and annoys me in equal parts. But she does look lovely with them, the very picture of her something that should be immortalized in paint. They should be for Mother. But it doesn't matter anymore.
Why don't we turn in for the night? You must be exhausted with all that gardening.
What does a dead woman care for flowers? Okay, I'm gonna take a quick break, and then I'll be right back. And I'm back. I didn't get any sleep, not a single wink. I was so busy jumping at every shadow and worrying about waking with a knife in my chest. Or not waking at all, even when Hana wakes, in spite of a mild fever, and goes downstairs for breakfast. I stay in bed, thoughts of poisoned food running in my head. The rain that has started sometime during the night doesn't do anything to help the mood. Okay, maybe it helps a little. The strange sunny weather had been nice and all, but for it to return as is should it be feels like a good sign of things. Perhaps things will settle back to normal and the crazy drama that has gone on lately will die down. I would hate to be caught unaware in this rain. And with how it looks outside, it seems the weather is making up for all the sunny days it's given us with a good old-fashioned downpour. The rhythmic pitter-patter of the rain fills the early morning silence with a steady beat. Thank goodness I don't have anywhere to be in a hurry today. I would hate to be caught unawares in this rain. With how it looks outside, it seems that the weather's been... Okay, it does let up within a quarter of an hour. However, at the day beginning with a cloudburst like this, locals usually take it as an immediate sign. Luxburn's abysmal weather is back, likely for good. I hope they did a damn good job fixing this place, because I'd rather not have to deal with leaky roofs. I don't like the idea that Realty did a horrid patch job with this place. Hana technically paid millions for this place. It better live up to the price that the Realty company sold it for. Roof problems aside, she's going to be a definite downer about all this as well. She hates the rain. Then again, who actually does? What sane person would like it when 9 out of 10 days consist of nothing but dark, drab, and gray skies and piss water pouring from the heavens? And she was just starting to enjoy the sunlight. I will have to get up and about eventually. That is a given. But I'm not too keen on seeing this or talking to Hannah before she leaves for the hospital. It's sunny out now. Was that earlier waking up, was that actually like a flashback to back in time? Or eventually, in a day's time, this bloody house, Kylie wouldn't like it if she comes here only to find me in a bad mood. Few would dare rouse me from bed. Being able to keep their job is incentive enough, though I trust that they realize that now is not a good time to force me into anything. Maybe I can just get an hour or two of sleep before Suarez drops his brat off in the mansion steps. If only. But as always, somebody has to be a buzzkill.
Are you really going to stay in bed all day?
Maybe.
What do you want?
You must have been really rattled by what happened yesterday. If you need to talk about it, I am quite qualified in that regard.
And you aren't even the slightest bit bothered? Truly? Not even the slightest bit worried?
I was worried. But I realized that it's not my life in danger, is it? My worrying will not help matters. Neither will yours.
Loath as I am to admit it, he's right. Still, it's more frustrating when he doesn't give me the time to concede his point.
I know you two aren't getting along.
Nosy bugger.
But you should at least see the madam off before we leave. Think of her as a business associate if you must. It would not do to part on bad terms.
It's far too early to deal with your nosiness.
Look, Luke, do you want to save your marriage or not? That's none of his business. None of it. If he remembers his place, he'll drop it. I don't want to talk to Hana. Not now, when I'm so high-strung and paranoid. This whole thing is a bloody mess with everything going off at once. I'm afraid that with our troubles, I will misinterpret anything she might say or do. That'd just make the whole thing worse.
Are there any updates about the woman?
Being in the dark has made me on edge. Information, any at all, may very well help me in calming down.
I've already briefed security about her, and more from the agency will be arriving tonight. But they haven't seen anyone fitting the description.
Oh, hi! I'm doing good. We're on the last chapter of the letter, so I'm hoping that I'll either finish, that if I don't finish it today, I'll finish it tomorrow. I like the game. I'm not sure how good it's been. Oh! Well, I'm glad you're here. It's always nice when someone joins the chat for the first time.
So you have nothing then? Fat lot of use you guys are. What do I even pay you for? Do me a favor. There's the door. Don't let it hit you on your way out.
Oh, I'm from the United States.
Well, there is something. It's about McCulloch.
Can anyone blame me if I show the tiniest bit of interest? She's not done with the house, and she's a nice enough woman. Plans to go back to sleep are gone.
I called her secretary about taking the day off. He hasn't heard from her over the weekend.
She's probably passed out after enjoying a pint or 2 or 10 in a bar somewhere. She's an adult. It was the weekend. She's allowed to disappear and not think about work. Fuck. I wish I was passed out after a night of drinking. He does know that mobiles are a thing.
That's all well and good, but she's not answering her mobile either. Mr. Parker will be filling a missing persons case with the police if she doesn't turn up today.
Certainly someone must know where she is. Tabs are kept, without fail, on people who come to work with me. Background checks and constant surveillance until they finish their contracts with the rights. Some would say that it's a bit over the top, but I can't be too safe. Too many want me dead.
What about one of ours? Has anyone seen her? She's pretty hard to miss with how tall the woman is.
The last anyone has seen of her was here, the morning of the party.
Oh, I already said I'm from the United States.
Your housewarming party.
This isn't good news.
It wouldn't do for the police to hear of this and to suspect.
It's of little import that I can easily prove my innocence. It's all a matter of principle. Because even the accusation of misdemeanor should not stain my reputation. Although maybe it's a bit too late to hope for a squeaky clean one. Streaming today, about an hour. Streaming in general, I think I started at the beginning of this year. Let's see, when did I get... I think it was maybe around March. I remember I got my computer around February. Besides, it'll be such a hassle to have the police poking around the house looking for a body that doesn't exist. Oh, I got my model I commissioned it from Apps and Set on Fiverr. They were really nice. They got everything. I drew out a sketch of how I wanted it to look, and they got it, like, really good. I really like this one. I'm actually planning to get a new one soon, though. Next month, I'm going to have a different model. So this is kind of going to be the last game. Oh. Well, the next model's going to be 2D. I thought about drawing up about making a model myself, but I'm not really good at figuring out how to actually make it work. So I like to commission people instead. Oh, it's okay. I already had it, like, commissioned. Oh, that's sweet of you to offer to help, but I already have it, like, commissioned and made. I already paid for it and everything, so that's pretty much as settled as it's gonna be.
Now, if we're done here, I'd like to go back to sleep and...
Yo, Luke, where are you?
Well, there goes any plans of grabbing some shut-eye. Rolling over on my stomach, I can only scream into my pillow.
Of course, of course. Ugh.
Yo, Luke, did you stub your toe again?
Sure.
Tia said you should always use your indoor voice when you have visitors.
Kylie, you're not using your indoor voice right now, are you, honey?
Johans, distract her.
Oh, look, it's time for me to go.
Childcare was not part of his job description.
Have fun with your little play date. So long, farewell, and auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.
No, Johans, don't you turn away from me. Keep her busy for an hour. Come on!
Luke, play with your goddaughter. I have to press my face against the pillow once more to suppress a groan. You can't just get loyal help anymore.
Hello there, little Fraulein. Your uncle is just upstairs and will be down in a moment. He is super excited to have you today. I hope you're well rested and ready to play a lot.
Bastard.
This house has such thin walls.
I'll be down in a sec, Munchkin. Let me just...
Change into a fresh shirt, brush my teeth, fix my hair, bemoan my very existence, wish I was anywhere else in the world right now. Don't get me wrong, Kylie's a great kid, wonderful, better than most brats her age. But handling a tyke is the last thing I want on my agenda right now with this whole Hana business. Fortunately, I am well versed in how the world works. I've long learned that the show must go on no matter what hurdles come in my way. So I set to preparing for the day. Running a comb through my hair is just divine and simply makes me feel more human. Bed hair is disgusting, though it isn't as bad now than it was when I was a child. With how expensive a trip to the barber's was, I often had to grow it out until Mother had time to cut it for me. The curls and tangles were simply horrid. Why I was even mistaken as a little girl because of that. It certainly doesn't help that I was named Lucille. A freshly pressed shirt is enough to chase away the last signs of sleepiness. The feel of crisp and clean cloth in my hands is a clear marker to the start of the day. Smoothing down my shirt and my hair with a sigh, I steel myself for the horrors. The horrors that come with taking care of a child.
Good morning to you, Luke.
Speak of the devil, and she shall appear. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, Kylie grins at me as soon as I open the bedroom door. She swings the backpack she's clutching, hitting my leg in a show of impatience, and looks entirely unapologetic for it.
Did you just wake up? Don't tell me you forgot. It's our playdate today.
I doubt I'd forget. Kylie's visits are frequent enough that they found a way into my schedule. They're supposed to be visits to her godmother, but we can't pick who a child gets along with. So long as I'm not busy, her father can drop her off for a day. Which is all well and good for me. It makes the Suarez's focus on the work I've given them. Besides, she's a bright child, tolerable. Kid's got a good head on her shoulders and can get pretty mature for her age at times. Of course, they have me to thank for that. Her parents can take partial credit, but Hana and I have been there for this kid since she was just a small babe. Why, I can still remember the first time I saw her. It was during her baptism. The only reason I was there was to accompany Hana, who was to be named godmother. She was such a tiny thing, not even a year old, swaddled in her mother's arm in white cloth. It was the first time I really saw an infant up close enough to hold one at least. It had been terrifying to be given a little child to carry after the whole water ceremony. I've never done so before that, to hold a tiny life in my arms. I could have just dropped her on her head and this little tyke before me would have stopped existing right then and there. But the child just smiled at me, babbling nonsensical words as children do, and clinging to me as I was trying to hand her off to Hana. She had thought it hilarious and adorable. My suit had been a mess, and I was nearly an anxious wreck by the time I handed her back to her mother. Yet it was pleasant too.
Of course I didn't, you little rugrat. I just had to take care of something before you arrived.
Really? Well, I guess that's fine. As long as he told me for work like last time.
Really? Now why don't we go back down and have breakfast in the parlor?
I already ate at home. Papa made one of his tortilla de patatas. He wouldn't let me leave until I finished every bite.
The Suarez's famous tortilla de patatas. Those things are a hazard. You can probably use one to bludgeon someone into submission with how huge they are. It's a miracle Kylie can still be so energetic. I had trouble staying awake the first time I had one. Speaking of staying awake...
Well, I need some coffee in me at the very least. But if you'd like, you can jump straight to dessert.
Yes! Dessert, please!
It's easy enough to manage Kylie with the promise of sweets, thankfully. The hard part is managing her before she gets the sweets, because I nearly have a heart attack when the kid races down the stairs. Just the thought of her slipping and breaking her neck is enough for me to rush down after her. Oh my god. So, back before I was born, my older cousin, my uncle and my dad were hanging out. And at the house I grew up in, we had the stairs, and then we had the banister right here before the big drop on the stairs. But it was a pretty big drop. So they were busy watching TV. They weren't looking after my cousin, and he was crawling about on the floor, and he went up to the banister, and on the little space between the bars, he stuck his head through, and he fell through. He fell right through the banister, and fell all the way down to the floor and hit his freaking head. He was okay, by the way. He was fine. He's alive. It was bad. I don't even think they took him to the hospital. They were just like, well, kids bounce.
Oh, slow down. The food isn't going anywhere.
The food is going somewhere. In my tummy.
Jesus fucking Christ. Children.
With a shake of my head, I usher Kylie toward the parlor and order a maid to bring food for us. Whatever breakfast there is, along with a cup of coffee for me and an ice cream for Kylie. But I can't leave the kid alone for too long unless I want to let her turn the other room into a slaughter ground. True to my expectations, I've only left Kylie alone for a few minutes, but she's already made herself comfortable. The stuff from her backpack has been left scattered across the room, from coloring books and crayons to toys. She's well equipped to amuse herself with no trouble, though I can certainly breathe a little easier if she won't bring her doll along every time she visits. Oh, why? Because it stares into your soul with its glassy eyes? Narissa, or Sissa, is a creepy little bugger. It doesn't help when Kylie left her during one. Finding the thing at the bottom of the stairs staring up at me at 3 o'clock in the fucking morning is a memory that won't be leaving me anytime soon. Even now, it stares at me where it's seated. I'm wholly tempted to just throw the thing into the fireplace and banish it from whence it came. I can buy her a prettier doll, a better toy. I will break it, find a way to get rid of it. If it wasn't from Hana, and if only Kylie wasn't so attached to it. The thing is some antique doll she found for the brat's 6th birthday, one of a kind. My darling Hana loves her so. And Kylie does try to be a good goddaughter, but she just can't keep her interest long with the wife. It's not something that Hannah does wrong on her part. She does try very, very hard. It's just that she doesn't quite know how to really handle children. She'd never been around the other children when she was young, surrounded by protective adults who catered to her every whim and worried about her safety every minute. When she isn't able to keep up with Kylie, her first instinct is to be strict. Impose rules on the child. Treat her as if she was made of spun glass, like every movement might break her. I, at least, have some idea from being around street kids. I know the games they've played and how they think. I know that scraps and skin knees are all part of childhood. Even with how I grew up, I had time to be a child and not some sheltered heiress. With Kylie, as behaved as she can be, with her toys and her books and arts, she has to use up all her energy somehow. To run around the playground and make a mess in the mud, or even just fake wrestle for a short while, let her be a child when she wants, I'll say. If it becomes too much, just bribe her with sweets or ship her back to her papa. Problem solved. Unfortunately, Hana isn't quite up for those sorts of things most of the time, thinking it'll spoil the child. It turns the whole play day awkward every time. Taking the last seat left, I pluck one of her coloring books from the table to see it filled with dinosaurs. Not exactly what I expect to see for a little girl, but doesn't hurt anyone. If she wants to play with dolls or cars, or dolls with their cars, what do I care? She once put a doll's tutus on models' cars even.
Oh, this is a new one. The last one you had was filled with horses, wasn't it?
Those were ponies, Tio. They're much cuter than horses. But we went to a dinosaur zoo, and it was awesome! Dinosaurs are my favorite.
I have no idea what that is, but it must be something. I'm only familiar with the T-Rex myself.
Yeah, they found, fossils of its claws. They're really long. They think the whole theory might be a bazillion meters tall, even bigger than a T-Rex. Sisa says it'll be big enough to eat all my classmates.
She only laughs as I scrunch up my nose and grimace.
Takako says you're making a really funny face.
Taka who?
Takako, a friend I made.
I have to stop and look around, expecting one of the help to be there. The child does have a way of befriending just about anyone, as long as she puts her mind to it. Yet, the two of us are completely alone. Thankfully, she only finds my disturbed look as another funny grown-up's expression. That might be a lot more problematic than whether she plays with dolls or cars, though. Both thoughts of Sissa giving Kylie ideas, and one of said ideas being massacred by a dinosaur. Something I probably need to bring up with her father aside from work. But beyond the murderous dinosaurs, creepy dolls, and imaginary friends, I have no trouble with Kylie. She's as energetic and precious as any tyke her age could be. She's an angel if she can get comfy and settled in after getting her sweets. Oh, that looks fucking good! Oh, I want that! We tuck into her waffles as soon as the food is brought in. Our waffles because she wanted her own plate to go with the ice cream as soon as she saw mine. A fresh plate of berries brought in as well, which really goes great with the rest of the feast, as Kylie puts it. And if I indulge in the sweetness, I have a cup of black coffee to pair it off with. With our bellies full, Kylie grows content with just scribbling on a scrap of paper and calmly chatting about her week. She talks of her older brother Rowan and their parents and how they plan to go to the Block's land in Berkshire for the winter holidays. She talks of Miss Pink and how I have to shift my legs to become comfortable once more. The memory of my initial meeting with her still fresh in my mind. The little brat is quick to defend her favorite academic as well. The woman has yet to offer a proper apology, and if she wishes to give one on her behalf, all diplomatic like I taught her. She talks of the sad man in the park and of her new friend who likes to play hide and seek when she's not sniffing in the loo. When finally she finds nothing new to talk about, she goes back to her drawings. That'll change as soon as her stomach settles, of course, the calm before the storm. Because, behaved as she is right now, I can feel the curiosity just radiating off her. There's a restlessness buzzing under her skin, and a question on the tip of her tongue, as they often are with children her age. But for now, I can take this piece with no complaint for however long it stays. I have fun with the crayons as well, at the child's insistence, even though I can't really draw. With Kylie using the black crayon that leaves me with the blue one, I absentmindedly start to draw a puppy to the best of my abilities. And as I attempt to give the doodle dogs another eye, that Kylie breaks her silence.
Tio? Where did Tia go? I saw them leave when I got here. Tia didn't look so good.
I've been expecting a lot of different questions. The kid always has a whole bunch of them ready for me. But I can only sigh when she posed this particular one.
She's just going to the doctor's for a checkup.
And as kids go, there are follow-up questions. It's not going to be next week. It's going to be next month that I have the new model. Because I'm switching from a 3D one to a 2D one. But the plan right now is this weekend I'm going to finish playing the letter. So we finish this game. Then next weekend I'm going to take off so there won't be any streams. And then the weekend after that, I'm gonna start with the new model.
And you didn't go with her?
Well, you were going to be here, sweetie, so I had to stay behind.
So she's all alone? At the hospital?
The cat is still sleeping in the other room.
Oh, no, of course not. Tia has Johans and her maid and a guard. She's got plenty of company.
Yeah, but you're not with her.
If I didn't know better, I'd say the kid is trying to make me feel guilty, though I don't know if the bitter taste in my mouth is that or something else entirely. I really don't have time to process what the emotion is as the brat opens her mouth again.
You should have gone with her to the hospital. Hospitals are scary, you know.
Luke, how does it feel to have a child criticize your marriage?
Exactly why I didn't go. I don't like hospitals, Kylie. That's all there is to it.
So you're not angry at Tia?
Why would I be angry at her? It isn't her fault she got sick.
I heard you and Tia are fighting. I heard that you might not be together anymore.
Who told you that? Who said that? Was it the butler? I have to stop her there. Sure, it's easy for people to jump to conclusions and presume that we might be fighting, no thanks to Rochelle. But it's not common knowledge that things have actually gone sour, and to put it in her terms, that we might not be together anymore.
Oh, well, where did you hear this from?
I heard it from a nice maid lady. But that's still no excuse. Not when she's sick. She needs someone to hold her hand and bring her soup and make her drink medicine.
I'm livid. Livid that one of my employees might gossip, and to a child of all people. Who says such upsetting things to a child? But my anger dies out when Kylie starts to tear up. She holds it back, and in an effort not to seem so childish, I assume. Though, I'm honestly confused as to why such news would upset her so.
No. Look, Kylie, there's no need to cry.
I'm not going to cry.
She's gonna cry. Oh my god, don't let the baby cry.
Are you sure? You've got no reason to cry. Even if Hana and I won't be together anymore, you can still visit me and I can still visit you.
That's not the problem. Why don't you and Tia love each other anymore?
Because Luke's been unfaithful.
I still love her, Munchkin, and I'd like to think your Tia still does too.
Isn't that the truth? Unfortunately, yes, she is still in love with you in spite of all that you've done. I love her, I'm just a total shit at showing it. And a small part of me screams that I was not worthy to be her husband in the first place, no matter how hard I deny it. Perhaps at another time, another place, another me, I would have confessed that the whole world is nothing compared to her.
Well, why are you two fighting? You grown-ups are so stupid sometimes.
Why? Because I'm a prat, probably. Motioning for her to come closer, I wrap my arms around and rub her back in an attempt to comfort the child. Only when I feel her tears soak into my jacket that I realize that there might be something else to her worries. I've heard the Suarez are not getting along too well with his wife, as of late, because of how busy he is with work. Really, I was wholly tempted to just brush off her question and say that it's a grown-up thing, and I could content myself in pretending that this isn't happening. But it seems like she needs to hear this. That it just makes it all the more painful to try and explain this because I have to explain it not only for Kylie, but also for myself.
Sometimes, people fall out of love. Or they think they've fallen out of love and need time apart. It's not necessarily a bad thing. They might be angry at each other, or they might feel sad. They need time for themselves to think about each other, to know if there is still love. Maybe they'll be back together again. Or maybe it's better for both of them to move on, instead of staying together and hurting each other pretending they still love each other.
There is nothing final, but here we are at a crossroads where one wrong step might end in heartbreak. Hana thinks we need some time apart, but we aren't done just yet.
But yes, grown-ups can be rather stupid.
You're still gonna be my friend, no matter what, Teal?
Of course, my life would be less exciting without a little brat like you running around and making a mess of it. And you better stay my friend, even when I get all old and wrinkly.
This ghost better stay the hell away from Kylie. If something bad happens to Kylie, we riot. Kylie's shoulders shake in laughter as she pulls away and gives me a toothy grin.
You're already old! But don't worry. When you die, I'll burn you and put you in a jar so I can keep you forever! Just like they did with Abuelo!
Yes, that's exactly how cremation works. My thoughts come to a grinding halt at her words, yet she goes on as if she hasn't just said such an odd thing. Why, it almost seems like the tyke is looking forward to my funeral. As if there's no confused expression on my face, she pulls me back to our drawings, commenting on the state of my weird dog.
I think your puppy would look better magenta.
I don't think I can spend any more time with Kylie considering how strung I feel. So it's a good thing that Suarez came for her as soon as I called. Though it is earlier than the agreed upon time, he voices no complaint. The bastard even has a look of relief as soon as they left. Or at least I interpreted it as such by the way I stood by one of the windows, not bothering to step out and greet the man. No doubt he still doesn't trust me around his spawn. Well, he has every right to be suspicious of me. I am a dangerous man after all. But to my chargin, that leaves me with the rest of my day with nothing to do. Well, aside from picking up the mess Kylie has left scattered about in the parlor. To my immense relief, she remembered to take her doll home with her this time. But the same cannot be said of the crayons and papers littered here and there. First things first, I snatch up my own doodle off the table and rip it to shreds, leaving no hope that it will see the light of day. The rest of the drawings, all Kylie's, remain unharmed as I collect the lot. Though they have been stacked neatly on the table before, they must have been blown about when I saw Kylie off. And there are plenty of them. From cats to cakes to colorful rainbows and gardens, the child managed to make a lot during her morning here. There is one more that I have to fish out of the fireplace where it landed. Expecting to see another one of Kylie's masterpieces, I am instead greeted with something that is a bit more concerning. Oh, great! Great! That's fucking fantastic! The ghost has been talking to the child! Fuck! Fuck! There is me, and there is Kylie, the two of us side by side and smiling as our stick figure selves stand in a nondescript field. And that much I can ascertain without looking at the labels below the duo's feet. But a third figure stands next to me in the drawing. A woman with her face hidden behind a curtain of black. Takako, the writing under her supplies.
Takako says you're making a really funny face.
Taka who?
Takako, a friend I made.
The hairs on the back of my head and neck stand on edge as I feel a chill go down my spine. A breath. That isn't mine. Okay, I know, like, from an out-of-game perspective, I'm just like, I know that Kylie's talking to the ghost, but is that? I heard whispering. That has me turning around and hoping to see someone, anyone, but nothing. And that's when I hear it. Laughter, sweet and merry laughter, ringing from the ballroom. Thinking about it has my cheeks burning and my blood running hot. It's as if I'm being mocked. As I stomp towards the door, I have to stop myself from shouting up a storm. I expect to see some of the help dallying about, idle from their duties. Perhaps they thought they can slack off in their duties without the head butler around and with my preoccupation with Kylie. Well, they had better had another thing coming. But again, nothing. Yeah, it's just an empty ballroom. You were hearing the spirits. It's fine. No big deal. Anyway, what I was going to say before the creepy ghost whispering distracted me. Kylie's picture reminded me of kids can be surprisingly morbid sometimes. So my little sister once told me about how she had an imaginary friend that was like a zombie raccoon that had dead babies in her tummy that were eating her insides. And she tells me that like horrifying description of a zombified pregnant raccoon that she's friends with. And I just had to smile and nod like that was okay. I'm sure it's fine. Nothing from what I can see with a cursory glance. At the very least, I roam around looking for the near impossible hiding places, and yet still I am all alone. Yet I can still hear the laughter, that accursed laughter, echoing about in the room, in my head.
Who's there? Show yourselves and show some respect to the master of the house.
Why would they show themselves? They would obviously get in trouble. Cold uneasiness settles into my stomach. When no one answers, I stumble on my own 2 feet, feeling a wave of nausea come out of nowhere. I have to put a hand against the wall to stay upright, and when the world shifts and pain explodes from my eyes. It takes every ounce of self-control not to heave then and there. The only thing my pride allowed me to do then is close my eyes and attempt to alleviate some pain. Vague, unfamiliar images, I dare say memories, not mine, flash in my head, unbidden and unwelcome. Like a strong hammer strike to the head, threatening to crack my skull and split it in two. Whatever emotions they hold are muted. I am nothing but a spectator. Still, its weight feels palpable. Though it doesn't take long for these sensations to get into my head, through my eyes and my ears, it creeps and buzzes in the space between. One after the other, they come at me, an unending flood that threatens to sweep me away for what feels like an eternity. Each one, a show of both joy and suffering for those who have called this mansion their home. Each new sentence is like a hammer to the head, threatening to crack my skull and split it in two. I can feel every little emotion in the blurry images that present itself in my head. I feel a part of these, like I've lived through them, although I know it's not possible. All their anger burns through me, that much is evident, but the pain more so. And above all of it are the whispers. The voices calling, luring, until one image emerges in a vivid contrast with the others. When there's a shout of joy, my eyes snap open, looking for the culprit. That's when the whole room just changes. Everything is the same, yet everything isn't. There are people everywhere, laughing, dancing. I should be concerned about them, but my mind finds it easy to dismiss them as they fade in and out from nothingness. Instead, I find my concentration drawn to a man and woman, though one can only call them a lord and lady going by their clothes. And oh, just how happy the couple looks. Though the man's eyes are eerily blank, like he's not all there, his face is familiar though. In fact, they both are, in a way I can't quite place. The two make a pretty picture as they dance in the center of the ballroom. Even the Phantom's crowd attention stays on them. It reminds me so much of Hana and I during the early days of our marriage, the honeymoon years as they call it. We were happy then too, all smiles and her sunshine. Even with the normal dreary weather, younger, we had less to worry about, or at least thought that way. I wished I could go back to the way that we could go back that way, even all that I did and had to do. But life has a way of catching up. There was work to be done. And although we had to stay the loving, perfect couple in public, I could not afford to look so weak. To appear tied down to someone else who knew who I really am. I had to harden my heart when I have business, but it hadn't always been so easy to just switch that part of me on and off. I should be more concerned about their intrusion too. Ask what in the bloody hell they are doing in my house, throwing a party as if they own the place. Ask myself how the fuck I didn't notice what was going on before, when the parlor and the foyer are both only a few doors away. There's a horrid feeling of envy. And though I have long accepted that I am a jealous person by nature, I have never felt such strong feelings of envy as I have now. They were happy with each other, these people, but Hana and I. Envy turned into anger. Anger for something I could not have. But I have the feeling that yelling and screaming at them won't do much of anything anyway. None of the others have given me notice. I realize that this might not even be real. It dawns on me that these two are the people from the paintings, the ones all over the mansion. Which makes sense. I don't think I'm imaginative enough to make up all of this on my own. This must be a dream. A really horrible high. Just then, I can feel eyes on me as I contemplate the absurdity of the situation, yet I find difficulty in trying to tear my eyes away from the two dancing. I manage, and I regret looking away. Oh, fuck, great, she's here. How you doing? You having a good day? Yeah, you're having a terrible day, I can tell. The woman from the garden stands beside me. I can hear her rattling breath, menacing and chilling. Everything in me screams to run. But something pins me to the spot as she just looks at me, watching and waiting. The clamor of the voices fill the ballroom. Although they say such welcoming words, I do not feel comforted by the madness I'm experiencing. Their joyous voices turn sinister and foreboding to my ears. The chorus of people that shouldn't exist threaten to overwhelm me, drown me, even as I stand on dry land. The music still plays as the Phantom Quartet continues while I stand here, vulnerable and afraid, but the dance has already ended. And I'm afraid that I might just be tonight's entertainment. Attention is all well and good until bullocks like this go down. The Phantom people watch me, thousands of eyes scrutinizing, though they cheer for my return, cajole me to dance and join the merriment. There are eager hands all over, pulling me in every direction, but they do not move me enough to remove me from the woman's gaze.
Listen. Can you not hear them as they welcome you home?
Okay.
Your kind. Our kind.
This is fine.
You're one of us, my love. We are bonded by the blood we share.
If I thought the voices were overwhelming before, it is nothing compared to how they are now. Their voices are loud, speaking in unison and echoing ever on in the spaces of my head. They welcome me back as if I've always belonged, as if I was meant to be here in the first place. They call me all these titles and names that do not belong to me, and that man's face, the one with the empty eyes, flashes again before me. Once, fleetingly, like the new memory having burned itself in my mind. I have to struggle for air when I come back to myself after.
I'm not. This isn't.
The welcomes turn into screams at my protest, pained and desperate pleas for my help, telling me that it's my duty to stay, telling me that I belong among them, to them. Gentle touches turn near threatening, the warning scratches and the baring teeth by the predators before they truly maim someone. My mouth goes dry as I struggle to speak some sense into the hallucinatory madness, but I don't get the chance as they drown out my voice.
Our lord, my prince.
At her words, there is a compulsion to stay. Though my heart races in my chest, the fear I should be experiencing refuses to register. Mind and body at war, each with each other, nearly tearing me in two.
Oh, you finally returned to us.
The compulsion to walk into her arms is strong. Whispers in my head tell me to go to her. They say that she is safety. She is home and heart. Yeah, we're gonna say no to that. Lord, show me how to say no to this. I don't know how to say no to this. Oh my God, she looks so helpless.
We have been waiting for so long.
But repulsed at these thoughts, I wrench away and turn with a small gasp. Without hesitation, I start to make a run for it. I nearly falter when the angry shriek pierces the air, inhumane and monstrous. I don't dare look back, I just run. I didn't care if this is a drug-induced hallucination or not. Just run! Run, Luke, run! Out of the ballroom. And out of the parlor. It's only then that I bother to look back, hoping and praying to the God that I scorn, that it did not pursue me. I would have run all the way out of the mansion too, if only someone didn't get in my way. I collide with a body much larger than mine and fall back to the ground, head spinning as I look up at the stained glass. Turning my head to the side replaces the colorful sight with a pair of shiny black shoes. Fatage fills every inch of my being then, making me refuse to get up. Meanwhile, a familiar head of ginger hair looks down at me in bemusement.
You really must look where you're going if you insist on running about. Do tell, where is the fire?
Oh, thank God you're here.
I do hope you don't have a concussion. Can you count backwards from 15 to 1 for me?
Oh, fuck off, you wanker. Just help me up.
We need to call the police.
I do not think insulting me if you do have a concussion is a smart decision.
Oh,
But no, really. 15 to 1.
Oh, honestly, what are the cops gonna do? It's a ghost.
That woman, she was here. I told you to keep an eye out for her.
The other man offers an arm and pulls me to my feet then. But before I can storm off and pull him to the ballroom, he anchors me down with one hand on my shoulder and the other touching the back of my head.
No bruising or bump. That still does not mean that you don't have a concussion. If you are too lazy to count backwards, can you tell me your full name? Where are you currently?
We don't have Lucille Mitchell Wright, and this is the Ermengarde bloody fucking foyer. But we don't have time for this.
You must make and have the time to make sure you are not broken in the head. I have already sent security to scour the whole house when I saw you running out of the parlor, Dummkopf. If the woman is here, they will have her. You will only be slowing them down if you plan to interfere.
When he points that out, I realize that there are guards starting to filter into the house as we speak, with some of them already searching the nearby rooms. Oh, they're gonna die. Armed and uniformed men go about in pairs, making it so that the house is in a flurry of activity. He lets go of me then, with the knowledge that I'm not going to keel over anytime soon.
I was hoping that you would be tired from dealing with the young miss on my return. Instead, you come running and hit your head. Such a troublesome boy. Shall I be carrying you to bed, too?
I can manage just fine on my own. Though I don't see how I can sleep until that woman is caught.
Get a hotel! Why are you still in this mansion?
It'll be easier to keep you safe in your quarters. This is twice we've known the woman to break in. I think we can safely presume that you hold her interest.
He says it as if in a matter-of-fact tone that brook no argument. Not like I'll argue if it means I'm being kept safe. The two of us hurry upstairs, though we remain watchful and wary of any potential threats to my person. We make it to the master bedroom without any trouble, though two of the security are left outside the door. No problems at all. Not until we get inside. Johannes' eyes scare the room wildly, a look of dread on his usually stoic face. And I don't understand for a moment, looking around the bedroom, it's empty. But then I realize...
Where's Hana? She came home with you from the hospital, didn't she?
She's supposed to be here. I sent one of the maids to accompany her here, to let her rest.
I feel the color drain from my face when he raises a hand to stop me from charging out there.
Stay.
I'm not staying in here while Hana stays out there.
One of the guards will find her and bring her here.
And what if they don't? What if that woman gets to her first? What if she already has her?
That's not possible.
You can't promise that.
Oh, great, a fucking knife. There's no second thought as I reach under my bed and pull out one of my knives. This is a regular standard kitchen knife. Luke, for someone as rich as you, I would expect you to have some fancy knives. I have no doubt that the other man can take me on if we are both unarmed. But with this, I can even the field, or at least deter him from escalating the situation and risking hurting either of us. You can't just pull a knife on your butler, dude. What the fuck?
I'm going out there to look for Hana. And you're either with me or you aren't. I'm not risking Hana, and I'm not leaving her alone.
Still, like a stubborn mule, he refuses to budge from the door. There's a withering look on him as I try to match. One that, somehow, I am losing too fast, even with him not saying a word yet.
Can you see yourself in the mirror right now? You are in no proper state to go looking for anyone. If it will make you happy, I will do the looking. But please, and don't make me repeat this, stay where it's safe, where security can find you. We already have one person to be worried about. Please don't add another one to it.
The only logical man in this game. Perhaps it's his tone. In spite of his general disdain for virtually everything that has to do with me, I'd like to think that over the years he has grown to care for Hana at least. As much as I loathe to admit this, I trust him with her safety over any servant in this house. So, an acquiesce.
You have 2 hours, Shirokin. I don't think it'll take that long to find one missing woman in this house. 2 hours. Any more than that, and I'm going out there.
I don't know, man. It's a pretty big house.
Of course.
Despite his words, he lingers. If I didn't know any better, I say that he wants to make sure I get in that damn bed and sleep before he turns away from me. What am I, a child? Watching me and treating me like one? There's a reason why we never get along.
Well, what are you waiting for?
And the knife?
The knife stays.
Very well.
Only then does he seem to get the hint. With a nod, he leaves, locks, and closes the door behind him. For a moment, I still hear his voice when he gives the guard outside firm instructions and then hush as soon as he departs with his footsteps fade away. One that doesn't quite last. As quickly as the silence settles in, lightning flashes across the sky, followed immediately by the loud boom of thunder. And that winker strikes so dangerously close that I can feel the electricity in the air. The power goes out not a second later, and I feel as if I'm being mocked by whatever greater power there is. All is deathly still for a moment, but soon the rain starts once again. Far heavier than the light drizzle from this morning, its pitter-patter hitting hard against this place's roof. Despite the noise, I find myself drawn to the bed, exhausted and hoping for a little nap. I'm safe here. Hana will be safe too. Shrocken will find her, and when I wake, she'll be here. It does not take long. Once my head hits the pillow, in a matter of minutes, darkness claims me, bringing with it laughter and whispers of a twisted love from a long time ago.
Who are you? Stay away!
Oh, that's the sound of people getting murdered.
Sweet dreams, my love. It'll be over soon.
I'm gonna take a quick break, and then I'll be right back. that back. Yet, in spite of the unfamiliar voices and unwanted touches from the shadows lurking in the dark, rousing is a slow, arduous process. Difficult, every limb heavy with lead, no matter my aversion to the words they murmur in my ears or the sight of her horrid smile from afar, my body refuses to yield. I am at their mercy. Beyond fathomable reason, my consciousness refuses to pull from the waking world, choosing to linger in the pits of a dream, gradually drawing me deeper into the unknown. Somehow, even if I may never open my eyes, I allow them.
You do not belong there, my prince.
Oh no. Not that I mind getting a few extra hours, of course. The bed's more than comfortable as is after an exhausting day yesterday. Babysitting Kylie and the stress of finding an intruder in my home. I think I deserve a little break, every once in a while, especially after going through all that in a single day. I can only be on the receiving end of so many unacceptable things within the span of a few hours, you know? As gracious a host and person as I am, my patience has its limits too. Although, there's still the problem with Hana. I haven't forgotten that, of course, but that's why I hired Shraken. He's competent enough. He won't even last a day in my service if he's any lesser than those half-wits who think they can deceive me with their sweet words. He's more than capable of working on his own without guidance. Let the butler take care of that little problem with Hana while Hana.
You do not need her.
Oh, great.
I am here.
She does want to be his wife.
We are here. This is where your home is. Where you belong. For the blood we share. Come back to us.
I respectfully decline your request at this moment. How long has it been since? Johannes has never taken this long before.
Surely there should have been an update by now. Alright?
Johannes got tased. So why isn't there?
Please don't go.
Bloody hell, the cretins I've surrounded myself with.
And isn't that enough reason to force myself out of bed? It has always been the case. Ghost is in his fucking bed again, isn't she? Oh great, more screaming. My eyes fly open, expecting the warm rays of sunshine filtering through the curtains, only to be greeted by a blinding flash of light and a loud boom of thunder that sounded nearly too close for my ears. Strong gusts of wind occasionally burst through the open balcony, bringing with it drizzles of cold rain into the room. I must have left it open earlier before dozing off, the carpet and the floor closest to it already drenched. Hana's going to be cross when she sees this. Not that it's an immediate problem, if anything, it's a power outage that we should be minding first. With an intruder still at large, searing through the darkness might be far more fatal than multiple stab wounds or a gunshot to the chest.
Oh, great. The power's still out. That is exactly what I need right now. Yes.
It's the storm, of course. I should have moved back to the penthouse to weather it in a more comfortable setting. Already I can hear the creak and groans of the old place as rain beats against the windows.
Johans! Has someone been sent to take the circuit breaker yet?
No answer.
Johans?
Yeah, he got tased and hit with a rolling pin. Silence.
Shroken! Someone! Anyone?
You're alone. Still nothing, and my cordial mood is quickly dissipating.
Where are those idiots when you need them?
It's really a wonder why he hasn't fixed this yet. Was I really out that long? Can't be. It's only been a few hours after midnight if the time on my wristwatch is anything to go by. Unless I've forgotten to change it after that last overseas trip a few months ago. Although, the delay is understandable if he went looking for Hana as he promised. But bloody hell, my safety's also at stake here. Cursing, I stay still, letting my eyes try to adjust to the darkness while my hands fumble for my slippers. If the butler isn't going to fix this, I may as well order the security posted outside to do it. It's probably just a blown fuse. Anyone with a brain can repair one. Grabbing my jacket with the footwear finally on, I make for the door. Although, in haste, I briefly pause when a gleam catches my eye. On one of my drawers, underneath the clutter I've yet to organize, the muzzle of a gun peeks out. Hana has never openly commented on my possession of it, but I know she does not approve of it. I already know the bloody firearms policy in this nation. Yeah, you aren't supposed to have that. Of course, I've not found much use for it in the 7 years we've been together. Otherwise, she would have already thrown it out years ago. Doesn't mean it won't be useful right now. Okay, so this entire chapter, Luke, twice, you have pulled a knife on people. You have pulled out a knife as your selected weapon of choice. You have a gun! Without a second thought, I seize it, and the stuff piled above it onto the floor. Whatever. I'll get to it later. This blackout problem should be solved first. Right next to my missing security detail, as it turns
Where the
out.
fuck did everyone go?
The ghost killed him. There were two, weren't there? Shrocken had 2 blokes posted to stand guard for the night. I might be panicking for a bit earlier, but I'm quite sure I haven't gotten delusional yet. What did both of them decide to take a break? Because they think the master's already sound asleep and won't be looking for him? Oh, I'll be right back. I gotta stop for a second. Okay, I'm back. And the kitty's here! What, did both of them decide to take a break because they think the master's already sound asleep and won't be looking for them?
Damn nitwits.
I know assassinations happen very rarely these days, even in a peaceful city like Luxborn, but bollocks! There's been a woman going in and out of this place uninvited who may or may not want to put a knife in my back. Isn't that enough reason to stay on alert? I'm fairly certain Shrocken won't just enlist their help just for this power outage, only to leave me unprotected. We have a difficult friendship, so to speak, but I doubt that man is an opportunist. I'm holding the lives of my family and of his family in my hands, after all. You're what? You're what, Luke? He knows what I'm capable of doing. He's not stupid enough to do anything that'll endanger them and save only himself. Luke, are you holding his family? Are you threatening his family so that this man works for you? What the fuck? So where then? Only my footsteps echo along the dark passage, and I am left gripping the handle of my pistol for some sort of comfort. Without proper lighting and with this sort of storm still raging outside, the stories I've heard about this place seem to have some truth to it. Some. If I'm reaching and wish to entertain myself for a bit, I'll say there might also be ghosts whispering in my ears, calling. Of course, it's just the wind and the trees rustling outside. Nothing good will come of allowing these thoughts to linger when problems are piling up in front of me one after another. Especially with what greets me once I get to the foyer. Through the dark, large windows illuminate the area much more easily than any of the other rooms. And from where I stand at the top of the stairs, I can easily make out their forms, recognize them even. It's all gone crazy when these intruders come into my house. I'm no stranger to a cop playing dirty. The smart ones knew that neither life nor criminals are going to play fair. And if this one's in on this, I'm not surprised too. But Lily, the estate agent, she doesn't seem the sort. And Daisy too? What will Kylie think of her Miss Pink if the poor tyke finds out about this? Not to mention Mint. Hana trusted her. I trusted her to be professional at the very least, for fuck's sake. To top it all off, they have the nerve to look surprised when I announce my presence.
Well, well, what have we here? If I were any less sober, I'd say this is the beginning of a joke.
Bloody trespassers. What is wrong with these people? Did they really think I'll be fine with them walking into my home like this? What are they even doing here? If I didn't know any better, they might also be behind Hannah's disappearance.
That's right, my love.
Don't listen to the ghost. They must have a motive.
Make them pay.
Oh, great. And it better be a good one.
For all the wrong they've done to us.
Why is the ghost so angry at them? They were just there. Like, I could understand the ghost going after Hana because the ghost wants Hana's man. Like, wants to steal her husband. I get that, okay? But what about them? They were literally just bystanders. Or a bullet to the head is the least all of them will deserve.
Let's see. A photographer, a high school teacher, a real estate agent, an interior designer walk into a mansion.
Thunder crackles once again, cutting me off. This time, it hits close enough that it feels as if the windows and the ground itself is rumbling. All is deathly still for a moment. I don't let it stop me, however, as I slowly make my way towards them, taking one careful step at a time, relishing in the expression of fears in their eyes. I suppose there's something ominous in this setting, with the heavy rain outside and the lack of light here. I kind of like it, to be honest. Adds something to the atmosphere. I suppose I must look like the villain now. But short of getting me close to them, a noise to my left distracts me, briefly halting my movements while curiosity takes over every murmurs in my head. And it's sort of a good thing, perhaps, that I did it, because as soon as I look up, I see him. Another trespasser. Great. Just as I'm about to jump down from the furniture that has somehow ended, just as he's about to jump down from the furniture that has somehow ended up piled and blocking the door to the parlor, what happened there? Did he really think it's all right to do that to other people's houses?
Teach him, my lord. Put him in his place.
My hand's already moving before any rational can stop me. My fingers firm at my gun when I finally release the safety from it and take aim. Not at him, but at his friends. They are his, aren't they? Why else would they be here together? Doesn't matter. He won't let the people he cares about be harmed. My finger on the trigger's more than itching to shoot, but I hold back. Sure, I could have simply taken aim at him. But more than seeing him bleed, I want to see the expression on his face once he realizes that everything he's doing is futile. He's trapped. Lives are in my hand. His life's in my hand.
Had I known there would be a party in my own home tonight, I would have opened a bloody bottle or two. People these days, in my own home, can you believe it? I feel so left out.
I can tell the exact moment the realization dawns on him. A short second between the bloody freezing, in a short second of his body freezing and the blood draining from his face, as soon as his feet hit the floor, he looks up. Here we are again. He's already a prey, trapped by his own recklessness.
Pathetic.
The ghost really does enable the worst aspects of loot.
And really, Daisy, even you, what would Kylie say?
Luke, this isn't what you're thinking. You have to listen to us. There's something going on here.
Well, obviously, why else would people be trespassing in my home? What about little Lily over there, then? What's your excuse? Checking back if your clients are doing okay? Is that it? Is this what this is? Oh, we're doing good, by the way.
Sir, please.
Oh, please, what?
Becca's right, sir. We need to get out of this place. You need to leave.
Tut, not a good enough excuse, darling. You people are the ones who need to get out of my sight. Don't worry, I might consider pressing lighter charges for the woman. Can't say the same for the rest of you. But really now, I swear the people of this city need to be taught the meaning of privacy. This is how you want to start the week. Why don't we just go with a bloody massacre if we want to surprise people in their homes, huh?
It's just a passing remark, of course. I'm not stupid enough to do something that'll bring negative attention to myself. Reputation and all that, I can't just risk it. The thought of having dead bodies here, ones that I'm not even responsible for, they're the ones that who trespassed. It's already quite too much. It'd literally be overkill, especially for someone like me. Nevertheless, joke or not, Feathers wastes no time drawing his own gun at the slight wave of my own. Even if he knows it's already too late. Still, he glares at me. Still, he fights back.
Now, Feathers. Manners. You're in no position to be pointing that gun at people.
Neither are you, Luke. Chill the fuck out. There's no desperation in him like I'm hoping. Just an annoyance flickering shortly before being hidden underneath a challenge. The likes of him are the kinds of people I hate the most. Even with their failures already glaring down at them, mocking every worthless move they've made, they have the impudence to stare people in the eye.
Why don't you put yours down first, and then we'll talk about manners.
Oh, he talks back. The gall! You know, your kind pisses me off so much.
Annoying most of the time, like a damn pest you can't get rid of. But to some degree it is. Commendable. I'll give him that. After all, we're almost the same in that regard. Almost. I'm still the better person, of course. He tells me to put the gun down, but I see no reason why I should. I'm a homeowner, in defense of my own home. I have the right to, I'd like to think. You are in... Luke! You are not even legally allowed to own that fucking gun! I don't think you can use a stand your ground law to not go to jail here. You could go to jail just for having that gun! Questionable permit of firearms aside. Not aside! It would get you fucked! You would be in big trouble! It's not like I wanted this. But I'm already high-strung, and their presence does not help. Bloody peasants. I can never seem to figure out how their minds fully work. Take this one, for example. Despite the pride brimming in him, how he matches my glare with one of his own, he simply lowers his pistol after a long second, not in surrender. The tense set in his shoulder tells me as much, but the closest he can get to lowering his own ego in favor of something I can't quite place. Interesting. Gotta admit, I'm almost disappointed.
As you should be, my lord.
I expected him to hold until one of us shoots the other. Can't say it'd be more exciting that way, with a bullet inside any part of my body isn't something that I'd like to have on a bad day like today, or any for that matter. But still, it'd surely be predictable of him. And I like predictable. They're the kinds of people who are the easiest to deal with, no matter the situation. With them, there's no second guessing what they'll do. He shoots, I shoot, one of us dies, the other walks away. Nothing complicated. Nothing requiring much brain power. Just muscle memory and who's the better shooter. End of story. Yet here he is, dragging a deep breath in and setting aside the only thing protecting him. I can easily shoot him this way, be done with the whole farce of a conversation. Instead, I find myself listening. A concession for a person who, in another life, would have also become the person I am today, had circumstances allowed it. Damn shame. We might have gotten along.
Listen, right. I need you to...
But alas...
You broke into my house, and somehow, you expect me to listen like a good little boy. Are you a bit touched in the head, Feathers? I'm not the one breaking laws here.
You are legally not allowed to have that gun.
Look here, fucker. If I wanted you dead, I could have done it so many times already. In fact, I can easily shoot you down right here, right now. And you won't be able to do a damn thing, even with that gun.
A meeting of two prideful blokes will never go well, whichever lifetime it is. And I can only laugh at his audacity, his lack of shame and fear, even facing the business end of my pistol.
You know what I'm thinking right now? In another lifetime, we would have probably gotten along well.
The best truth I can offer him. Not many people, those who have slighted me in particular, live this long to see it.
And he should be grateful. You're already gracious enough, allowing him to stand in your presence like this.
This ghost really is the toxic girlfriend that looks at a man and says, I can make him worse. Yes, especially when he has a lot to answer to. Preferably right now, because as generous as I have been so far, my patience has its limits. My amusement can only last for so long. In 2 steps, I'm standing in front of him, grabbing him by the collar, resting the cold muzzle of the eagle against his temple.
Ashton! Luke, no!
Hey, now you two, I'm sure we can all talk about this first.
He'll end up a pretty smear on the wall this close.
Teach this loud a lesson.
What is it that you people really want with me? This is the second time this week, and I'm really getting weary of this little game. Did the NCA send you to apprehend me? Or has somebody paid you off to kill me? Which one is it, Feathers? Mind you, my arm's getting tired. Better answer quick if you don't want to beat the business end of this gun.
And he knows it. Of course he does. Hitman or not, he has been trained, judging purely from his stance. but not many others can be as cautious as him. One glimpse at my handgun safety earlier is all it took for him to see I mean business. Similar. Too similar. We're too alike in so many little ways, it's funny. Down to the fact that he doesn't even flinch, no matter how heavy the threats in my words are. Even knowing how with one flick of my finger on the trigger will be enough to end his sorry life, he should have caved in by now, started begging, like so many others before him. Luke, how many people have you killed? Instead, he throws more vitriol, adds more kindling to a fire already burning.
I'm not with NCA. I'm just here to help. There's something else in this house, and we're all in danger. You have to believe me, right? You need to let us go. You need to get out of here before it's too late. If you want to keep your sorry ass alive, you'll listen to people with more brain cells than you.
Igniting it further that I can't help but return to him with equal favor. We don't need him, my love.
Why, you insolent!
We both decide in that moment, both our bodies tensing, each of us racing to get ahead of the other in time. However, before we can even get a head start, a voice unexpectedly rings above the chaos about to ensue.
Luke, help me. Please.
I've always been cautious and careful, cutting off Trouble's head before things can escalate if I'm able. That's why I deal with the likes of Harvey, Suarez, and Johannes. For all who we are, for all the enemies the likes of us can make, such a thing has never happened before, because I do everything I can to make sure it doesn't happen. So to see Hana in danger, I don't quite know how to feel or what to do. Of all the times for there to be a hostage situation, if this even is one, why now? Good fucking God, what is going on here?
Help me. Please. Please make it stop.
I think death would be preferable to my sense of self-preservation, but it would be preferable if my sense of self-preservation was shot to high hell. It would deprive me of the choice and responsibility in this matter. I don't want to think about how fast my heart beats, so that I can hardly hear anything other than my own heartbeat and her pleading.
Please, they're in my head. Screaming. It hurts so much.
Yeah, this is bad. What do I do? What can one do against someone holding your life in their hands? With a woman that looks more monster than man. When her expression turns into one of amusement and her horrific laughter fills the air, I'm torn apart. This is my fault, isn't it? Hana is in danger because of me. Everybody I love always ends up hurt or worse, and even when I chose to let her go, she is no exception. Hana's unbroken begging makes it all the more painful because I still love Hana. I really do. But will I really endanger myself for a woman who might not love me back anymore? Still, something in me dies a little when that woman laughs as if all this is some sick joke. Her smile taunts me, filling my head with laughter and rage until I can barely think over the cacophony in my head. The way the woman looks at me, as if she's watching, waiting for my next move.
Please, someone, anyone, help me.
This is crazy, and I don't know what I should do. I don't know what you should do either. I mean, she's at the top of the stairs. How good's your aim, Luke? Can you shoot the ghost? I know for the fact that one shouldn't aggravate a hostage taker. There is no winning an argument with someone who holds a life easily taken. But I need to do something, right? I just have to... Fuck, we're gonna get a kid. Oh, hello, nice to see someone in chat. What do you think I should do? Because I think I'm about to get Hana killed. Oh, God. We should demand, keeping quiet doesn't do anything to change the situation. But if we demand her release, I don't know if we're really much in a position to be making demands right now. Okay. Let's just demand her release. Maybe the ghost will open a dialogue. What am I doing? Why am I even hesitating? I wouldn't go as far to claim that I'm any sort of decent human being. I'm trying to kill the ghost. I mean, Luke has a gun. Ashton has a gun. Both of them should try shooting the ghost, but the ghost has a hostage. What am I even doing? Why am I even hesitating? I wouldn't go so far to claim that I'm any sort of decent human being. I realize now, too, that I may not have been the best husband one could ask for, but she's still my wife. And even if she wasn't, she's still Hana. Can I really live with myself if I just stood by idly while she was in danger? That doesn't change the fact that this is all fucking insane, of course. Having all these intruders is crazy. To think about going at this thing is crazy. I can hardly classify it as a person in my eyes. Perhaps the maggot that needs to be crushed under my shoe, just like the rest of this sorry lot, but a person? Hardly. But I cared none for any of it. They didn't matter. All that matters is Hana's life is in danger. But the cold pours over me, freezes me in place once more when I try to make demands. I have to take deep breaths, grit my teeth, and steel my fists to even find the courage to speak up.
Let go of her! Don't hurt her! Whatever it is you want! Just don't you dare hurt her!
And if my voice isn't as firm as I'd like to, it doesn't matter. I will beg and plead if I have to. On my knees, bend my fucking proud neck, and maybe even break it, just to make sure she's safe. I don't know what I would do if anything happened to Hana. I don't know what I would do if anything happened to Hana either! The cold stillness is gone from my body, and my very skin feels like it's on fire. I have to shout, scream at her when Hana continues to cry out in pain.
What do you want? Money? Is that it? I give you however much you want.
Luke, please make it stop. I want it to stop.
Just stop whatever it is you're doing to her. Can't you see she's hurting?
I cannot stand for this.
Let go of her! Now!
I say it with such ridiculous conviction, and of course she won't listen. Why would she? She has the upper hand here. There's no reason for her to do as I ask. But her voice is a whisper, and deathly slow. I'm still hard-pressed to hear it over the pounding of my heart in my ears. She speaks, the woman from the gardens and the servant from the ballroom, from the hallucination, vision, memories, whatever they were. A hush settles over the room as we listen.
She does not love you anymore. You are nothing to her.
Okay, little Miss Ghosty, if you really do believe that, why are you threatening her? She wouldn't be competition for you anymore if that were the case.
And you wish to have him back.
There are no second thoughts.
Be that as it may, I still love her. And I will make you rue the day you were born if you don't let her go.
Though her expression doesn't change, I have this most awful feeling that it wasn't the answer she was looking for. I can see how the woman's fingers tighten around Hana's throat. I hear the hitch in her breath, and I fear I've made the worst decision in speaking out. I fear that too! I didn't think she would listen, yet she does. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Hana's safe. A hand on Hannah's back sends her falling down the stairs. I move to catch her, and that sends us both sprawling at the foot of the stairs. With my back to the ground and her on top of me, the pain doesn't even register in my head. All I can worry about is Hana as I pull both of us off the ground and away from the stairs, away from her.
Are you alright, Hana? Are you hurt?
It takes much too long for my liking before she speaks. All she's able to do for a moment is whimper in pain, a hand to her throat. And when she does manage to speak, her voice is far too faint along with the hold she has on my arm. It's terrifying to see her like this, and to think I nearly lost her for good.
Luke, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. She just...
It's fine. It's fine. You're fine. This isn't your fault.
For a moment we forget. But...
You deserve each other.
Oh God, the ghost is gonna kill us all in a jealous rage. Hearing her voice triggers something in Hana, and she starts to tear up. Her face contorts into one of pain and fear. But I grab her by the shoulders, and to keep her in place so that she can see me, and only me, and so that I can only see her too.
Look at me, Hana. Look, I'm here. You're safe. I won't let her hurt you again. Do you understand? Just breathe.
I don't know exactly what in the bloody hell is going on, yet I can't find it in me to care. Whoever these people are and whatever they're here for. This is not acceptable. For all I know, this is all some dumb charade to get me. All the times I've seen the woman before, it could have been an act to get to me, to get under my skin. And they think they dare hurt Hana? For all that fear that I have felt, seeing her touch Hana, I can only think of her as an actress in grotesque makeup. My hand still shakes, the fear not having quite gone, but the anger fills me as I look at the woman, a sneer on my face.
How dare you! I don't care who you are, but how dare you touch Hana! I want you out of my house, out before I call the police and have you put away for the rest of your miserable life! And that goes for all of you!
I hold my ground, firm and strong with my declaration. But the nerve of her, she just laughs in my face. Yeah, I don't think ghosts are afraid of going to jail. A terrible, dreadful laugh that makes me feel as if there are ants crawling on my skin and maggots squirming into my ears.
You are telling me to get out of your house. You threatened to lock me up.
She laughs, and she laughs.
What's so funny? What are you laughing at? None of this is funny!
But she persists, and almost feels like her voice is in my head.
Oh, no different. No different. You're all the same.
Oh, God.
You can all suffer together.
And that is when everything turns to complete and utter shit. Oh, like it hasn't already? It's a slow thing, a whisper more than a bang, as the darkness creeps into every corner of the room. The walls shudder and groan, blood runs from the ceiling, crawls down the walls, and stains the floor. It feels as if life itself is being sucked from the house slowly but surely. The beauty of the place is gone, with only the dead, decaying remains of the mansion left. I don't have to wonder if it's just the foyer that's become this nightmare of a place. I can already hear it. Gone are the growling of thunder and the lashings of rain and wind against the foyer's high windows. All of it has been replaced with a more grating sound. A cacophony of voices from nowhere and everywhere, echoing throughout the now horrid walls. Voices that neither belong to us nor the people who live here.
What's going on?
Help! Please!
All of throughout the house, shouts of alarm and surprise ring out, a mirror to the horror creeping up in each of us. Who wouldn't be shocked? This is insane. Even Daisy, feisty woman that she is, trembles at the sight of it, clinging desperately to Lily while Steel and Feathers stand protectively in front of the two. Brave of them to admit that, to put themselves in the front line like that. Though it doesn't necessarily mean that they're feeling the same fear as the rest of us. Something I don't blame them for. There seems to be no end in sight to this insanity. If anything, this only feels like the beginning of the end.
Help me! Oh my God! Please, somebody! Anybody! Who are you? Stay away!
Just how many people has this ghost killed?
No. Stay away! Stay away!
Their screams fill the mansion. She laughs all the while, a harsh, agonizing sound that goes on for what feels like forever. Yeah, this probably isn't great. Until there is nothing left but silence, her horrid smile and pale hands reaching out to me. Calling. Beckoning. Pleading. I'm terrified, I really am, like I should be. But I have never been one to truly stay afraid. I've long learned that fear will not get me anywhere. Cowering in the corner doesn't keep me safe, and it will not keep me alive, not like rage does. I've learned to use this burning hate inside of me to survive. There is no difference now.
Stay away from me!
Why do you wish to leave? This is where you belong, my lord.
Oh God, should everyone just give Luke to the ghost and make a break for it? He seems to be the one that she really wants.
Remember the blood we share?
What blood?
This is your home. Don't you remember? You promised to return, to stay, together with me, with us, with people no different from you. What is she talking about, Luke? What does she mean?
I don't know.
Don't listen to her, she lies. I promised no such thing to anyone. Hana, you're the one who bought this house. How should I know what she's babbling about? I never even wanted to be here in the first place.
Yay! There we go. Kitty came back. A terrible case of mistaken identity. That must be it. I'm quite sure of it. I don't really think the ghost is going to be satisfied with a new number. Who dis? I don't know this woman. This monster. Why would I say that to someone like her? In my entire lifetime, I've only made and kept sincere promises to a mere 2 people, Hannah Evans and Eleanor Chandler. No one else. The rest of those who claim I've promised anything to them can go fuck themselves. Bloody hell, I may enjoy the company of women, but I am not an idiot to start spouting such nonsense to anyone. A line must be drawn, especially if I am to keep myself alive. Yet she goes on, insists, making me appear like a liar in front of these people.
Of course you still deny it. Have you truly forgotten? You haven't changed, I see. Still a deceiver.
She's lying!
You see, my love, nothing has changed. Still no difference, you and I. Just like the rest of us. Just like every single soul in this putrid wreck. We've waited for so long. You can hear them, yes? Their pleas, their calls,
Oh, God.
their invitation. Come, my lord. The house seeks its master.
The monster reaches out again. Her hands a gory, abhorrent sight, along with that smile spread across her face. My body's already moving on instinct, stumbling back, one step at a time, in a desperate bid to get away from her. Anything to put distance between me and this vile creature. No matter what she says, I am nothing like her. I need to get out of this house. Out of this country, preferably. There's nothing for me here. Not anymore. Nothing to keep me tied to this place. With Hannah planning to leave me, Stroken likely taken by this woman, and nothing's left to bind me to this wretched city, I can leave. I can...
Careful, Luke!
My foot steps on something, sending me sliding on my back and flat on the floor. Beside me, a paper, a familiar one, flutters down. Oh, great, it's the letter. It's this thing again, from the open house, though it feels less like a gimmick and more like a threat, what with recent events. It must have fallen from one of the peasants in the commotion earlier. For a moment, they appear conflicted to see it in my hands, but wisely keep their opinions to themselves, leaving the damn thing to simply bear its grisly message for everyone in the room to see. Help me. Help me. Help me. Is this it? Is this what they've been telling us? Why everything in my life has gone to shit? Because of some stupid old letter? An invitation indeed. One I am not willing to accept. Not any time. From the top of the stairs, the creature moves again, drawing my attention back to her. Her gait remains slow and awkward as she walks forward, that smile never leaving her. But I won't give her the chance. I'm not dying here. I'm certainly not giving myself to a hideous creature like her either. Adrenaline kicks in, and despite panicked gasps and worried glances from Daisy's friends, I pay them no mind as I reach for the main door and, without warning, it slams open, revealing not the mansion grounds like I'm expecting. Before my mind could even comprehend what's happening, black tendrils have already coiled tightly around my limbs, dragging every person in the foyer into the room. None of us even get to scream when the darkness completely envelopes upon the doors closing.
Understand where your place is now, my love.
Are we back into the creepy dungeons?
You belong here. Is it so difficult to grasp? We've been waiting.
Oh god, this is where the creepy mirror was in the beginning. There's a moment of distinct panic when the feeling of tendrils around my limbs finally dissipates. As soon as my eyes adjust to the darkness of the room, I'm on my feet, reaching for my knife and holding it out, watching, waiting for every movement. Using it as a way to put distance between me and these peasants. Who knows what they'll do now? We're all desperate to get out of this house. There are only 7 of us in this room, 4 of them, friends at that. I cannot trust these people not to turn on me. Bloody hell, even Hannah's giving me the same looks as them right now. Though Mitt has already gone loon, crouched in the corner and muttering to herself, you can't really say anyone's safe from her. If anything, she's the one I should watch out for. I cannot trust anyone. Not anymore. Not after this. Despite the pleading looks Lily shoots my way, while they all huddle in the corner behind Steel and Feathers. But I have to remind myself that even people like her are capable of doing the unpleasant. She's only human after all. It's never an excuse why. Even Hana has her cunning, manipulative moments, though she does it in a much more subtler way than I. Why else would Lily show us this letter that day, if not to save herself? I guess that backfired on her now that she and her own friends are also stuck here. Still, I have every right to be livid. Everything that I've built has fallen apart. All because these people came into our lives.
You! All of you!
Luke, calm down.
This is all your fault!
No, it's not.
If I'm dying to this bloody case, I'm taking you all down with me!
You should go sit in the climb out corner and calm down for a minute.
Luke, please put that knife away. This isn't going to solve anything.
Well, he's gone from waving a gun at people to waving a knife at people, so in a way, this has de-escalated. He has chilled out a little bit.
Hey now, Mr. Wright. I know the situation ain't good, but we have to calm down. We're all in the same boat here. You shut your mouth! If it weren't for you, or this letter, for all of you, none of this would have happened!
Is your life all that matters to you?
What about these people here? Don't they have the same problem? What about me, Luke? Do you even care?
Are you taking their side?
Yeah, kinda.
You're also stuck in this nightmare, Hana!
Well, look, either you all work together to deal with this, or you do the ghost job and kill each other.
That creature is out to get us, and you're still defending these people!
I'm not defending anyone, Luke. I'm just trying to be reasonable when you're clearly not.
Oh, of course you're not. You're just the one who bought this bloody mansion to begin with. If I didn't know any better, you did this on purpose!
Why would she do that, Luke?
Why no? Why would I ever do that? This was only meant to be an anniversary gift. For you. For us. For the family we're going to have.
Oh God, is Hana pregnant?
Right, anniversary gift. Oh, here's your gift, darling. Oh, by the way, there's a curse included in that package. I hope that's all right.
Luke is having what we like to refer to as a downward spiral.
Are you really that eager to get rid of me, Hana? Because if that's what you've been meaning to do all this time, you might as well just put a knife in my back while I'm...
Suddenly, Hana steps up and slaps the knife away from my hand. Said knife slides uselessly under the table, out of my reach. Before my mind registers what's happening, a sharp blow explodes in the side of my head, sending me backwards. Oh! Fuck yeah! She merely stands before me afterwards without even batting an eye, glaring at me as if she might just rip my head off this instant. Sometimes I forget.
Don't you dare, Luke. Don't you dare imply I've ever thought of you that way.
That Hana is never the weak woman I believed her to be. How did I come to think of her as such? She used to be someone I could look up to, isn't she? When you look at her now, the way she stands tall, facing a man like me, the same way she had done all those years ago, I can't help but think. Am I not responsible for taking that part of herself away from her? Enjoy your time as Mrs. Luke Wright. What a bunch of shit. Figures why she would want to leave me.
And these people are only trying to help us.
Oh, of course, by barging into our home. Are you really going to trust them to save your life? These peasants who brought this pox upon us.
Luke, calm down.
Keep talking about us like that, and see if any of us here will keep you out of this place.
Rebecca, stop! All of you stop this!
To hear Lily speak out so loud, I can't say I'm not surprised. She has always given me the impression of someone so meek from the moment I've met her, either from her inexperience or her station in life. She has never struck me as someone fitting to be a real estate agent. Until now. Quietly, she puts herself between me and Daisy, cutting whatever scathing words we've yet to hurl at each other. The way she glares at me, it reminds me of the way my own mom would look at me. Particularly when I've done something wrong, and it's not to stare back that she's unuseful to showing. She has done this before, probably to a younger sibling. Ha! If she only sees us as a pair of squabbling kids and not two mature adults, well, that's only to be expected. No doubt that's how she sees us. For a long moment, there's only silence in the room. Steel, the big oaf, doesn't even dare to break it, neither does Feathers. With both merely watching us, bunch of wimps, these men. That it matters when Lily starts speaking again after some of the anger and tension has lifted from the room.
Stop this, please! With or without that damn piece of paper,
A deep breath, an exhale, and then she closes her eyes, a crease forming between her eyebrows, while she grips her hand tightly in front of her.
We still would have ended up in this mess.
Come here, kitty. Come here. I'll lift you up. You can come up again. Come on. Come on, kitty. There you go.
Can I call it that? An admission? It seems like from the way her eyes nervously flick between her friends and I. She appears to know more than she lets on, and she makes herself appear smaller after dropping that bomb on us. It doesn't quite sit well with me. Impatience is something I don't have the luxury of right now in bestowing upon other people. What else does this girl know? What else is she not telling us? Because from the looks of this, even her friends have no idea what she's talking about. Unwilling to wait, I grab her arm before she retreats without an explanation, waving the letter still in my hand in front of her.
Ow! Sir, you're hurting me!
Hey, hands off her, right?
Fuck off, Feathers. I have questions for your friend, and she better have the answers.
Luke, you need to calm down.
Luke, will you stop taking it out on every single person?
Your friend is hiding something, Daisy.
She struggles for a moment, but my hold eventually forces her to look up at me. Fear and uncertainty spreads across her features, especially when her eyes land on the damn paper. As much as I want to be considerate right now, I want answers.
What do you mean, Lily?
I'm not sure about it.
Don't give me that, you know something!
Ow! Please, sir. I know the paper's useless, okay?
At the mention of the letter, all of a sudden Mint stands. I've almost forgotten she's here. Her ramblings have faded away into the shouting. Well, without warning, she snatches the paper out of my hand. It's a miracle that it didn't rip right then and there, but the way she glares at it, I think she may want to do exactly that.
We should have gotten rid of this thing! We should have burned it at the first opportunity we got!
No, even if we rip it to shreds, it won't do anything. I think...
You don't know what I've seen, Santos. There were children! Victims! All because they had no idea what this thing will do to them! Oh God, those poor souls! They were screaming and begging before she...
Then what about those people they mentioned in the news lately? All those who died? My coworkers? The open house clients? None of them had seen it. Even Rose. And yet they're all dead.
We gotta burn the house down.
I should know. That letter has been with me since I picked it up. And I swear I didn't make copies of this thing. Even if I wanted to save myself, I wouldn't do that to my friends. Or anyone.
Is that what the trip to BRC was for?
Yes, I'm sorry. I couldn't tell you guys until I was certain. None of you believed me the first time. I had to find proof.
And yet we're all here! Are you taking me for a fool, Lily?
I have to go with whiskey on this. Who knows how many has already seen this before you found it? This cursed thing has to go!
We would have ended up here either way. Maybe? I really don't know.
I don't think burning down the letter is enough. I think we need to burn down the whole fucking mansion.
Sir, please. All I know is that paper isn't the reason why all of this is happening. There's something else that...
Like, the way I see it, the paper, the letter, it's like the mirror. Cause when Marion, when she was first seeing the ghost, it was haunting her through the mirror. And she thought that if she broke the mirror, the ghost wouldn't be able to haunt her anymore. But breaking the mirror didn't do anything. So, it's like, the letter is like that. Tearing up the letter won't do anything because it's like the mirror. It's not the main source of the curse. It's just an extension of it. You gotta get rid of the entire freaking mansion.
This place.
Steel has been quiet this entire time. The sound of him talking, however, whispered it is, still manages to catch us all off guard. We all pause, turning to him, likely with the same questions in our eyes.
What?
I just remembered something, a friend told me. You know, stuff about ghosts or curses. You probably don't want to hear it.
It's pretty fucking relevant right now, buddy!
No, it might be something. What about this place, Zach?
There's still a moment where he hesitates, but Lily's urging eventually spurges him into speaking.
Remember what I told you the last time you and Ash visited? A few days ago?
You mean what Andrew told you? Those were just stories, Zach. It might not even help.
Regardless, Steele pauses while he allows Lily to remember. Soon enough, whatever it is dawns on her as her face lights up with something like hope. Of all things, in this nightmare, hope? Her head snaps up and she reaches for Steele's arm to give it a squeeze. A reassurance or a confirmation? The meaning is lost even to Daisy, who glances at them baffled.
Belle, what are you... Becca, it's this place.
What? You mean, like, burn this place down?
They are finally getting with the program.
I still think we should get rid of this letter before we start thinking of destroying a place with some historical value.
Okay, I say we burn the mansion down and throw the letter into it.
What? No? We are not burning a multi-million-pound mansion, you peasants! I just spent a fortune on this!
Oh, you have enough fucking money. We can burn it down.
Seriously, Luke, are you really more worried about that?
Buttercup, Marching, millions. It's going to take years getting all that money back.
It's fine. You have a penthouse.
Well, you certainly won't be getting any of that money if you're dead.
Good point.
Really, Luke? Is that more important than your life?
Bloody fucking hell! Not only do I have trespassers on my property, but they're also arsonists!
Yay! Arson! Also, insurance! It's fine! You're insured, right, Luke? Luke? Look, arson is the answer this time, okay? Arson is the answer.
It's not only that. Think about it.
Then they proceed to tell some ridiculous narrative about the supernatural. Stories about ghosts, legends, curses born out of great anger and pain, and whatever else people use to scare children. Not that I believe any of it, as if knowing will help, but a bunch of loons, these people, officially off their rockers. To think I'll be stuck in this nightmare with people like them. What did I ever do to the world? You cheated on your wife, you committed various amounts of crime, I'm pretty sure you've killed people. Also, you've been a dick. Of course, it's all absurd until...
I think it's just like what the professor guy said. Just like that old story. This mansion and some other thing might be keeping her here. You know, something he wanted in life, but never got to have. Something like that.
Look, Luke, either we burn down the mansion or you're gonna have to fuck the ghost. Either way, financially or physically, you're taking one for the team.
Or maybe it's not something, Zachary.
Someone. Who doesn't have to be uttered out loud. There's only one person in the room who that woman calls after. Every single one of them has heard it. Bloody hell, it's in the reluctant shift in Daisy's eyes when they flicker over to me, though only briefly. She's also holding information on her own, or perhaps a realization she just had. It doesn't matter. I know when people have slowly started to turn on me. How do they think I've lasted in this cutthroat world? Betray them before they do the same to you. Put a knife in their back before they can act. Kill or be killed. Survival, in a nutshell. What now? Are they going to throw me at the creature? See what happens to save themselves? I am no fool.
No. You're all in on this, aren't you?
Are you people implying that my husband, that we should just...
Of course! Of fucking course!
Look! If you don't want to burn down your mansion, you're going to have to tenderly love the ghost in a way that will help her pass on. Personally, I'm all for killing the mansion. Burn down the mansion! Kill it with fire! Solutions!
Luke, that isn't what I...
Are you all going to stoop that low?
It's nothing like that, Ash. All we're saying is that maybe maybe he might be able to do something about this.
Drop it, you guys. We're not leaving anyone here.
Just like that, their bickering begins anew. Bloody peasants. My head's already aching just listening to them. To think this is all the solution they can come up with. Look, either you burn down your mansion, or you kiss the ghost. Either way, Luke, you have to take one for the team. I should have just stabbed all of them and made a run for it. With what knife? Your wife slapped it out of your hand and now it's under the table. It doesn't help with each second we spend talking, the crazier this whole place gets. The voices have become louder and somehow sounding more vicious. If the things in this room start floating, mark my words, I will fucking flip out. You already flipped out. You were pulling a knife on people. And they may not be thinking of it right now, but eventually, they'll turn on me. Such is the nature of humans. Better find a way out of this place as soon as possible if I want to stay alive. Fuck, I still have so much to do. None of our choices seem sound, but who knows? We don't understand a shit about this place. Might as well try everything, yeah? Whatever works. Also, I have to be the one that makes the if I have to be the one to make the bloody decision, so be it. Less room for errors with only the sane one doing the thinking. On the off chance I'm wrong, well, they suggested it. We gotta burn the mansion. We gotta burn the fucking mansion. I'm going to regret this. I will. But with these cries growing louder, this has become the easiest decision I've ever made. I'm getting tired of hearing her sobbing, really. It's just irritating. Isn't she getting tired of it? Besides, someone has to act fast. Think fast. And what else is the root cause of our problems but this place where the letter was found? No need to make things more complicated. It started here. Why won't it end here? If what Lily has said is true, then there's all the more reason to destroy it. Put an end to this madness before someone thinks of putting this blasted place up in the market. When I get out of this place, I swear I'm suing a bunch of people. Run that estate company to the ground if I need be. We spent millions, damn it! Millions! With a sigh and perhaps a heavy heart, I open up one of the drawers in my sturdy table, taking out a bottle of liquor out for myself, then passing it to every occupant in the room. They accept, but not without a look of protest or a confused glance my way. It does shut them all up, so maybe I've done something good.
Luke, this isn't the time!
Even when I pop the cork off the bottle and pour its contents to the floor.
Well, what are you simpletons waiting for?
We waste no time dousing the whole room, the smell of alcohol filling the air. If I didn't know any better, I'd say they're more eager to set this whole place on fire. And the blaze catches easily in the room when I set it alight, using the blasted paper as kindling. With the whole place drenched with wine and all manner of things alcoholic I've been hiding from Hana, the small fire soon turns into an inferno. Yes! Yes! Burn it! Burn the mansion! In a matter of seconds, we're out the door. It doesn't exactly lead to where I'm hoping it will. Though, ending up in the kitchen does give more reason to play like a bunch of pyromaniacs. Fishing the liquor stocks from the cupboards, we also do the same thing we've done to the study. Door after door, in every room we pass. Pouring bottle after bottle of expensive aged liquor and setting everything on fire, only leaving once the blaze has started in earnest. When we run out of liquor, we simply drop the bottle and take one off from many of the nooks I've stashed one. And there's no lack of it in here. The hard stuff, the shorts, the watered down kind. Gifts from distant relatives, friends, so-called friends, you name it. I've made sure there's always one within reach.
How many of these things do you keep in this house?
I always have a few bottles in the bedroom, the parlor, and the dining room.
Luke, you have a problem.
You have problems, man.
Well, isn't this the time to discuss them?
Therapy after we deal with the ghost. Therapy for everyone. Turns out it'll be useful now. Not to drown out my sorrows, but for this, wonder of wonders, I suppose I can now say I've also saved my life. But there's no time for introspection now, because with each room we pass and burn, the place has also become easier to navigate. It's as if it's slowly righting itself, returning to what it's supposed to be. Soon, we finally find ourselves standing before the main door. The strong odor of burning wood cloth and varnish alike wafts from under the doors of the rooms we've previously torched, slowly filling the hall with thick black smoke. The blaze has also started in earnest in each and every part of the house. I can already feel the heat seeping from the rooms I've set aflame. In a matter of minutes, the flames will engulf the whole house. Fitting that it is when she appears again before us, watching us from the top of the stairs while her world goes up in flames around her. However, what catches my eyes is that expression on her face. Not the vile smile I've already grown accustomed to, or the one where her eyes gleam with complete hatred. This one, forlorn, is the only word I can think to describe it.
No, please. Help me.
We are helping you, honey. Without the mansion tethering you to this world, you'll be able to move on, probably.
Help me, please.
You've killed a lot of people. Can the dead still feel? Can she hear us? Or is that merely another one of her tricks to trap us in this nightmare? Like this, however, she seems almost like the woman she used to be. And I don't waste any time pondering over it. Not with this exit just a few steps away. The doors finally open, and through it I can catch a glimpse of the world outside. Safety. However, I do turn, if only to see the last of her. A farewell more than anything. For all her attempts to lure me here, draw me in, her wishes to be with me, she does not stop me when I finally run from this horrid place. Quietly, she disappears. Yes! Burn it! Burn it! Watching a multi-million-pound mansion burn before me, for some reason, nothing about this bothers me. Maybe it's one last look on her face that has changed it. Maybe it's what I've seen and heard inside. There's only a calm, a stillness. The same hush that comes out before a terrible storm has swept the countryside. And with this sight of sun rising above the horizon, ever so slowly, the sky begins to lighten before my eyes. Darkness gives way to the warm morning hues, soft rays spilling over the vast expanse of Luxport's countryside. I don't think insurance is going to cover this. This was a very intentional fire that the owners caused. Nearby, the trees sway and rustle with the breeze. A passing draft carries into this room, and from outside, cold enough makes me shiver. The remains of the storm has passed. In the distance, I can hear the soft chirping of birds, while the rest of the world stirs, wakes. Dawn, at last. We are free. I'm going to take a quick break, and then I'll be right back. And I'm back. Epilogue! Oh, yay! Like the flames that engulfed the mansion that night, whispers quickly spread across Luxborn City after the incident. Officers who investigated it have simply deemed it an unfortunate accident. Regardless of the truth, Luke Wright files criminal charges against Briar Realty Corporation after, for undisclosed reasons to the public, forcing the latter to declare bankruptcy. A move that has merely stoked the rumors further. But, for those who still believe in the stories of old and those who know the truth, it is but a testament to the curse and the secrets of the Emergarde mansion has hidden for centuries. If there will come a time when those will finally be revealed, only the ashes of the now ruined mansion will know. However, on nights when the wind howls and thunder booms across the sky, some still claim hearing of voices where it once stood. Of cries and wails fill the nights and desperate calls for help from anyone who dares to listen. As for those who once tread its halls... After a brief separation, Hannah Wright returns to Luke's side. Oh my god, I guess they went to couples counseling, and I guess Luke improved as a person. They seem happy. Let's hope it sticks. Not without its fair share of challenges, of course, especially for Luke. But for the sake of their children, he tries, although the man still fears fatherhood, afraid of becoming like his father was to him. However, with a little help from Hannah, he eventually comes around, especially when the twins are born. He's still far from being a good father. He thinks he never will be. But there are parts of him that will always remain unpleasant and will exasperate Hannah to no end. But even someone like him sees the joy in this, in having a family. For the first time in a long while, he admits he's content. They're happy. Months after her recovery, Marion McCullough heads back to her homeland, ready to close a chapter from the past that she has left hanging for so long. While there, she visits Lorraine's grave, asking for forgiveness from the girl she once loved, something she has intentionally avoided for years. Although the terror of what she had witnessed inside the Emergarde mansion still clings to her, she bravely chooses to move on from it. Turning over a new leaf by focusing on a new branch of her interior design company and leaving her interior design company at Luxborn in the hands of her secretary instead. Although she never returns to the city after, she is seen frequently visiting to check on the people she is acquainted with in her years there. Having finally accepted herself, she won't deny she's in a happier place now. Despite making the Ireland branch of her interior design company her focus now, Marion continues to cater to her most avid patrons in Luxborn when requested. After her work in the Emergarde mansion, the Wright couple, particularly Hannah Wright, have never trusted another to handle the design of any of the places they own. Upon moving to the new place after giving birth to hers and Luke's children, Marion's name is the first she calls, while the woman is quick to fly back to the city at the socialite summons. Not only helping with decorations for their new place, but also assisting with the renovations, much to Hannah's delight. Since then, the two women have kept a close friendship. Often, they can be seen going around town together with Marion in tow, and Hannah can often be heard recommending the designer to her peers during parties. In the city, often keeping an ear out for gossip, one can't deny both women have found a confidant in each other. With help from family and friends, Zachary Steele is soon able to open a photography studio of his own, something he has only dreamed of having as a child. Although he still hopes to get back into making indie films someday, client work and small projects has helped keep him mostly busy. Hectic as it may be, he can only be glad for the amount of work pouring in. It has made him move on from the incident in the Emergarde mansion easier, if not faster. But while there are still nightmares, with the support of his family, his doctor, and his own drive, the dark images have finally turned into pleasant dreams. He's aware that he won't ever truly forget, but he's no longer running away. At times, when he's not busy or after a hard day's work, he thinks there's another story for the big screen to be told in that. Any idea may soon turn into reality once his time affords it. Unknown to many, Hannah Wright has also played a huge role in getting Zach's new studio up and running. But for all the latter's efforts to try and thank the woman, she insists her investment is a secret, as she merely wishes to help out, having been impressed by his skills in the field during a brief time they've worked together. A working relationship that continues to this day, as he is the only photographer she seeks at every single event she hosts, whether it is a simple social gathering or a company party. Beyond work, they also remain close friends to this day, marked by the frequent visits to his studio or casual talks over lunch or dinner. A friendship that seems to only grow in time, especially after her children were born and who have become especially fond of the man. Both have never directly answered what the real case may be. But it is clear that Hannah trusts the photographer enough to place her children in his care every time she and Luke Wright leave the city for business. Although her husband's relationship with Zach is lukewarm at best, despite her hopes through the years, he has learned to wisely keep his opinions to himself. Perhaps out of respect for his wife and her close friend. In the months that follow, Rebecca Gales becomes a prominent researcher within Luxburn's major academic circles, especially after writing that she has discovered about Ansem Village and the Emergard Mansion. With help from Professor Andrew Clark, she is soon able to secure further funding to continue her research, as presenting her findings at a yearly local and international symphonies. Now that at the tail end of her current study, she hopes to publish her first book, correcting all the inaccuracies in the city's current history, a move supported by both colleagues, students, and friends alike. Though she knows that she still has a long way to go before she can even begin to change people's minds about it, Professor Clark has warned her as much. She perseveres, doing it not for herself, but for the sake of history, history that the future generation must never forget. No matter how disturbing her experience with the curse may have been, she remains the worrywart that she has always been. Even after she has been seen, she continues to fret over the people she cares about, sometimes much to their frustration or embarrassment. But there's one thing that has shifted. It's her relationship with people in their little circle, particularly with Zachary Steele. In fact, on numerous occasions, she has been seen dropping by his studio, bringing the man food on days when he was swamped with work. They also seem to have grown more comfortable around each other than before. Maybe it's born to their shared experience, or maybe the way they see each other has simply changed naturally due to the years they've known each other. Regardless of the whys, it's a change that the man welcomes and appreciates. In turn, he strives to return her kind gestures whenever he can. For all the horrors they've seen, who would have thought that something good would come of it? Things have been inevitably become strained between Ashton Frey and Rebecca Gales in the months following the confession and the man's eventual rejection. And with their new work and lives getting busier, the two of them had eventually drifted apart. Though neither talks about it and the teacher still strives to forget an old flame, it's clear that in Rebecca that there are still lingering feelings of bitterness left. If anything, however, it has only made it obvious how much has changed between them, and how much she has clung to the idea of Ashton from their younger days, the one that may not have been there in the first place. Merely the idea of for a starry-eyed young girl. But if there will be a time when she will be able to accept this and move on from her and the repair an old friendship that has fallen to ruin, only she knows. With her newfound courage, Isabella Santos finally chooses to pursue what she really wants for herself. Having made enough to keep her family afloat for years, and with their blessing, she quits her job at Breyer Realtor Corporations and takes the scholarship offer from the local university. Though remarkably out of practice and unsure of what if she'll be able to keep up by the time she returns to the university, she finds her feet soon enough with the help from the people close to her. And with her confidence and her skills growing, so do the people recognizing her work. It doesn't take long before several award-giving bodies take notice of her. And for all her accomplishments, however, she has never truly forgotten what happened at the Ermengarde Mansion. The image still remains in her, and particularly on pleasant nights, terrors continue to visit her dreams. She knows those won't disappear from her life. It has become a part of her in the same way that death has permanently taken from her. However, she's no longer afraid. And with a brave face, she carries on, wishing that someday she'll be able to paint a brighter, more vivid thoughts on her canvas. An honest portrayal of life and hope amidst the fear. Shortly after accepting the scholarship grant from Luxburn, Isabella moves from Selmo residences in favor of staying in a dorm close to her campus. Although Rebecca Gales is quick to offer assistance for the move, she does admit she will be missing her neighbor of more than 5 years. When all is said and done, she becomes fonder of the girl over the years, and with their share of experience over the curse, they have only grown closer. Isabella leaves with a promise to visit everyone once in a while. And she still jokingly complains about Rebecca's bossy attitude, she confesses that she also misses the woman's fussing. After all, in a place away from her real family, Rebecca is the closest thing she has to a sister. More than a year later, once everyone in their respective lives has settled, Zachary Steele and Isabella Santos finally hold their first exhibit together. A project that has been in the making for almost 2 years after the photographer casually brought it up to the other artist. While merely intended as a small event, it has been surprisingly attended by several members of Luckbourne's upper class and art enthusiasts. Although few of the pieces have been meant for sale, the show has brought prominence to Zachary and Isabella's names in the city art scene. It has since been followed by several other exhibits by two, although both in and out of the city. Currently, they are planning to hold their first show overseas. Yet, even with the unexpected overwhelming fame, friendship between the two has remained strong. Theirs, after all, is a bond that goes beyond mere partners in a small project. He's her family, as much as she is his. While she's aware she still has plenty of ways to go, getting back to school has also opened a lot of opportunities for Isabella. At times, part-time work has started to come in droves, and she is able to support herself financially through her art alone. Sometimes something she only dreamed as a child. And when clients are generous enough, she is able to send money back home, as well, despite her family's reassurances. One such client is Mary McCullough's interior design company, who frequently commissions her for murals after the woman has learned of her skill. Though at times she finds it difficult to keep up with the interior designer's standard for quality, it's a job and a challenge that she's only too happy to accept if it means doing what she loves. Following his success bringing in several major cases to a close, Ashton Frey receives a recommendation for transfer to Luxbourne's lead agency against organized crimes. An endorsement eagerly backed by the newly appointed successor to the late Chief Inspector Lee, Abigail Harris. Knowing he'll have more resources, leeway, and a bigger chance at ultimately bringing Luke Wright to justice, Ashton Frey accepts. He still warns the people close to him against Wright and his associates, but only a friendly reminder now, more than anything. Though he does worry, he believes they are wise enough to know what they are doing and trust their judgment. For now, he has decided to leave the evidence and the law to speak for itself, and take care of the man once the proper time comes. Nowadays, police work and operations keep him busy, something taking him away from the city he grew up in for days on end. A rare thing for him to enjoy once at a time, yet this time he never loses his drive. Simply growing more determined after having finally found a clear purpose close to the rush and excitement he dreamed of as a child. Although Ashton still keeps mum about specific details of his work, his experience with the curse has slowly taught him how to open up, especially to those he knows genuinely care for him. He still has a long way to go, he knows that, but for the sake of the people who are still with him, those who have chosen to stay, he hopes that there will come a day when he no longer has to hide behind his own lies. A day when he no longer is afraid of facing the truth of his own actions. On his days off, Ashton can regularly be seen loitering around Zachary Steele's studio, either to help him out on one of his pet projects or exasperating the other man on purpose. Either or, it's mostly the later. At certain times, he'll volunteer to model for one of Zach's projects, in spite of the photographer's reassurances that it's not needed. Regardless, Ashton insists before complaining about how meticulous the whole process is for hours later to Zach's amusement. Although sometimes they may get into small, trivial arguments, things have stayed cordial between the two. If anything, the ordeal they've both gone through has merely strengthened the friendship the detective didn't expect to find in anyone. Between the lingering trauma and their measly attempts at normalcy, it takes a few months for the awkwardness to finally lift for both Ashton Frey and Isabella Santos. Of several weeks of trying to find their voice and remembering how to act around each other despite enduring infections. But once the unease fades, there's only the usual banter and rapport to fall back on, the casual talk and friendly jibes. And for the both of them, it's easy, like breathing, like coming home after another journey, a comfort in spite of the things that they've gone through. Their days may still be filled with petty arguments and light teasing, but the aftermath, when all has been said and done, something constant has been forged between them. A quiet, steadfast thing that they can both hold on to as they both carry on. Oh! And that's it! Well, it was a fun game. None of them died. We burned down the mansion. I managed to keep everyone alive. I'm really glad I managed to keep all the characters alive and that none of them died during this playthrough. That would have bummed me out. I don't know. He didn't get insurance money but he did sue the real estate company that sold him the mansion, and he sued them into oblivion. So he got the money back. He's good on that. The insurance company, the real estate company was going under anyway because a bunch of its employees were being killed by the ghost. I think the ghost passed on. Like, we burned down the mansion. She should be good. All the characters are pretty happy. I do find it funny that Ashton is still planning to arrest Luke while Luke is off having Ashton's friend Zach, like, babysit his children. Like, that would make things awkward. Like, I could just see Hannah and Zach having lunch together and just being like, so Luke got arrested, and we're like, yup. He got arrested for a lot of things. It's like, yup. I think if he went to the insurance company for the burning the house down thing, it would have counted as insurance fraud because he did start the fire. He deliberately started the fire on his own. That was a him decision to make. That was a him choice. Oh, this is a nice song. I wonder if there's going to be a post-credits cutscene. Sometimes games have them, but then they don't. I was planning on playing this game tomorrow too, but since I finished it today, I'm gonna have to do something else. I'll play something else tomorrow. I'm thinking of playing one of the Princess Maker games, because I do have Princess Maker 2 Refine, and that's always fun. How long are these credits gonna go for? Wow, a lot of people were working on this story. They did a great job. Round of applause! Oh, third-party programs. Wow, that's a lot. I'm gonna be disappointed if there isn't an end credits scene, because I'm really hoping there's gonna be an extra. Oh, special messages. Thanks to everyone for playing. We hope you enjoyed the game. It's been a fun part of the production, and I really appreciate the team's effort to incorporate what we suggested. Hope to see you somewhere again. Aww. Oh wow, these are all scrolling too fast for me to read all of them. Let's go the letter page too. Oh, is there gonna be a sequel game? That'd be. Oh, Hannah plus times Isabella, please. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for playing the letter. We hope you had a blast. We can't wait to talk to you about it. Oh, cool. Well, I had a fun time playing it. Oh, there is an end credit scene. Cool.
Teal? Where are you, Teal?
Is this gonna be an end credit scene that I don't like?
Teal? Please?
If something happens to Kylie, we riot.
She's here!
Oh, wait, what the fuck?
She's still here, Teal!
Oh, fuck! But we burned down the mansion!
Help me! Please!
Oh, shit, I fucked up! I fucked up! I fucked up! Oh, fuck! Fuck! Achievement unlocked, shattered fairy tale. Fuck you! Dear you, if you finished reading the game, it means you. If you finished reading the game, it's dear you, if you're reading this, then that means you finished playing the game in one way or another. And we thank you for the time you spent playing the letter. This game is our passion project more than anything else, and we sincerely hope we delivered in bringing you a one-of-a-kind visual novel experience. The letter is the first of many visual novels from us. If you like what we did with this game, we would like to support us. Please take some time to click on the button below and find out how. Thank you so much for everything. Let's talk soon. Love, YYM Team. Well, I do want to look at the other visual novels you've made and support your projects, but, like, you kind of sucker punched me just now. Fuck. Okay. I got one ending. There's more endings. I'm not gonna play them on stream, but cause I don't know what else I could do without risking everyone getting killed. But it's, you know what? I'm going to believe that was just a random nightmare and that Kylie's fine. They didn't mention it in the epilogue. I'm sure she's fine. Kylie is fine because I choose to believe she's fine. That's totally how it works. And I hope everyone had a fun time with this game. I know I did. But until next time, show's over.